My definition of fun, like the funnest time I think in the practice room is when bodies are hitting the deck, it's hot, it's sweaty, and when you leave practice, everything is sore, even your fingernails.
Yeah.
Right? Because your ego is telling you that if my kid that came from me goes out there and plays a sport that I love and they're not the best of it, other people are going to judge me. There's three reasons why people change. They desire to change, they're discontent, or disaster. That's the easiest way to handle that, is the violent way.
Hey, what's up, Village family? Welcome to another episode of the Village HI Podcast, a community for inspiration, elevation, and empowerment. I'm your host, Rocky Silva. Man, today I'm joined by a native from Laie. You know, he's a Kugu Red Raider, but probably one of the most well-respected and probably the best, if not one of the best wrestling coaches here in Hawaii. You know, I've been able to watch him, you know, work with the youth to the high school, college, and even some MMA superstars. Don't want to go too much into it. I'll let him explain who he is and then tell us about him more himself. But everybody, I got Rob Hesia.
What's up, Rock?
What's up, my man?
Wonderful introduction.
Hey, you know,
I appreciate that.
It make me feel kind of nervous, man.
I make my 5'5" to 5'6". I get straightened up a little bit, but no, thanks for having me. And pumped for you too. Me and Rock go way back from first jobs. I think, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Was that your first job? As
Pretty
a
much my
skills
first
trainer?
real job. My first real job right out of college. I was a skills trainer. For you guys don't know, I was a skills trainer working with kids at King Intermediate.
Yep.
Rob was running show over there, man.
I don't know if I was running show, but that's my first job too.
For
Yeah. When I came back, my first job was a PE teacher at King Intermediate. So I actually just posted something today. Jonah Estrella, he sent me a picture of I started a
Hey, your
strength.
little group, your strength coach.
Yeah.
Morning,
So that was nice to see, man. I love working over there.
You know, being there, there's a certain demographic of kids out there, you know what I mean?
Country kids.
Yeah, country kids. And, some of them just need extra love, and I always have watching just your interaction with them and just the way they respected you, man. It was great to see, man. Why do you think you think you have that kind of rapport with kids? People say trouble kid. I don't say trouble. I like to say they just need some loving guidance.
Yeah, no, they're just country kids. Bro.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, being from the country myself, being from Laie, very similar. I've always worked with kids, and so for me, it's always been like I understand that they're learning.
Yeah.
So when they do stuff that's like they do dumb stuff, bro.
Yeah, people say, why do you do that?
Yeah. Like
Why'd you do that?
my patience for them is a lot more because I can always go back to be like, it's probably their first time learning this, and then you can correct it and from there. So, but I think I connected with the kids because I was those kids, and at King had a real bad reputation. I didn't even know that. Going to Coke and all that, I didn't even know King Intermediate existed.
Yeah. Because you got to drive in the back to actually see the campus.
And so, the kids over there, they're just rugged. They're down. It's not, they're not going to just talk. Like, they're going to throw hands,
They're
about the business. They go back roads and so in some sense, I admire that because they would do that and then it would be over.
Yeah. Show love after shake hands.
Yeah.
And that's done.
And
how was your upbringing? Talking that you're from Laie.
Yep.
How was your upbringing as in maybe preparing you for, being able to handle cases like this and stuff like that?
So, I actually originally was living in North Shore, right outside of Velziland, right outside of VLAN. Okay. It's actually like a multi-million-dollar, it's the Sunset Colony or something.
Yeah.
All all the
real nice.
Yeah, that was like
kind of going up the hillside.
No, going like on the beach side.
Oh, on the beach side, yeah.
It's a gated community.
Oh, okay.
But that was like kind of like a little hood.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that I grew up in, and I remember there was one time we would have to go to Cammy's, and they had a laundromat there, and this is where right next to Chevron is. So I must have been like 8. I must have been like 8, and then my mom's like, "Hey, get the bag of laundry. We gotta go to the laundromat." And I remember bringing the bag and then walking out, and it was 2 stories. I lived on the 2nd story. I opened the door. I came out, and there was all these people downstairs were scrapping.
Oh, for real?
Scrapping. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. So
and you're only like 8 or 9 years old?
Yeah. So I turn around, go back in the house. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, these guys are all fighting. And, I'm thinking hey, we can't go do laundry.
Yeah.
My mom was like, hurry up. Get the stuff. We got to go do laundry. So
we're walking around them.
Yeah, bro. We literally opened the door and we walked around. I'm dodging people. And we get to my mom's car. one of the guys runs, opens his trunk, grabs a bat,
Oh,
and runs back. And then like, you know, we went and did the laundry, and I was like, oh my God, man. I was like,
that's your introduction, man.
that was, yeah. And like, that's like, and then somebody had got stabbed.
Yeah.
And so when I came back home, like I remember following the path of the blood to where he like collapsed and all that.
Dang.
It was so nuts.
Not first 48.
yeah. I was like, oh, I never knew if what happened to him or whatever.
action.
But yeah, it was pretty wild. And then we moved to Laie.
Yeah.
And so maybe like 8 or 9, moved to Laie. And that was like so much more structure, right? There's the Mormon church out there. The community is just not as chaotic as it was at Sunset. I mean, there's so many wild things that went on in Sunset. And then I moved to Laie, and it's like,
I think you have pillars in the community like that keep things
100%.
Yeah, I guess in place.
Yep.
The standard.
like the the standard and respect. Like there's respect for their elders. You know, there's a big Polynesian culture out there, right?
Service,
respect
the
is
community,
like they're and the church. And so, you know, going there, like you go to Laie, I grew up on Wahine Pe'e Street. I can just go into my neighbor's house.
Yeah. And that's really how it is in the country.
Bro, like, hey, you know, I'm hungry, and then somebody will feed me.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think, you know, you grow up over there, you become friends with everybody. We're always outside.
Yeah.
Like I remember my mom would tell me, she'd be like, hey, get out of the house. And don't come home. If you come home, I'm gonna lick you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I was like, bro, what do you mean? You know, and you just
you find stuff to do.
Right, you go outside and you do whatever. You find your friends. You go
Yeah.
to the beach.
Yeah.
You know, and but I spent a lot of time at Laie Park.
Yeah.
And like, bro,
Where ballers come from, man.
and like, you know, they got 8-foot rims, so you get to a point, you can start dunking, and you know, you can feel a real. And then we were always playing football. We were always playing rough and tumble. So rough and tumble is like, one guy has the ball, and there's like 10 dudes, and then right, you just gotta run the ball, and then you get tackled. When you're getting tackled, you gotta throw the ball in the air. Yeah. Other people got other stuff,
something else.
But you know, we didn't like it, bro. They called it rough and tumble too.
Yeah.
So, but and so we were doing that. And whenever it would rain hard, So
that field gets muddy.
So like Jack Johnson has a song, and he references going to play mud football at Koku because the field flood. And so look, we're talking like,
this is before the new field, so people don't know this thing turned into like a moat.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah,
and so guys would catch the bus. We'd catch the bus all to Koku, and we would like set up games and play football.
Yeah.
And you know, you know, we had like, so I went to Koku Elementary because my grandma was a teacher at Koku High School, so I didn't go to Laie Elementary.
Yeah,
but like at Koku Elementary, like, you know, back then, like kids would have arguments, and they would get into physical altercations, like scraps, and there was like often, and this is gonna kind of lead up to like my journey into MMA because I was a smaller kid growing up. You know, I'm only 5'5" now, and you know, like the threat of a scrap was real.
Yeah.
At Koku, and like you could avoid it. You could avoid it if you know, but at some point, I think everybody at the school threw hands, bro, with somebody.
Yeah.
Some guys would fight every day. Like guys in our school, like neighbors, bro, come to school and scrap every day,
and go play, and
then go home and be like fine afterwards. You know, like not even exaggerating.
Parents telling you, come on, we come eat dinner.
Bro, we were so good at people fighting that we knew that if everyone ran to the fight, all the people outside would come and break it up.
Oh,
so we'd be like pretending to play, and it'd be two guys they're squaring up and then throwing hands, you know,
being
and
discreet.
Just be as discreet as possible so you could actually like, you know, get down. And like back then it was like, this is how you won the fight. And for me, I don't know, maybe it's just Koku's or my interpretation. Yeah, was like, right, if you made the other guy cry, you know, or a little bit of blood, then you won the fight. Yeah, like you could have got dirty lickings, bro, and then just throw a haymaker and hit the guy in his nose and bleed his nose. And, you know, like I'm just saying, we didn't have like we should have had a 10-point must judge system. Because
what do you feel like, you know, like back then, guys, you know, threw hands, got into fights, but everybody shook hands, was good after that.
Yeah,
but nowadays you see people, you know, going home, retaliating, shooting, style. What is your I guess observation of all that? Your feel?
Yeah, I mean,
how much times have changed? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, I'm not condoning any like this kind of stuff. I wish nobody would fight, but the reality was that that's how it was, and
That was a lifestyle.
It made
environment.
it hardened us kids. It made us to not, to understand that sometimes there's physical consequence, like at a young age, for what you say or what you do.
Yeah, you're gonna be held accountable.
Right.
You can't just be going off.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why there's so much keyboard warriors nowadays.
Yeah. And that, I think, like, people can anonymously go on these things and chirp and do whatever and instigate people, and you get somebody that gets pushed who it takes a level of like confidence in yourself that you can have a physical altercation with somebody.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you don't have that confidence, then you're gonna resort to the easiest way to win that altercation.
No, true.
And so, like, the best way to win the altercation is to actually talk it through.
Yeah.
Like, that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people, we're young kids, so we didn't have that processing,
or the maturity to even look at it like that.
Or the maturity, and then high school kids over there, they're fighting upper fields, and so, you're kind of surrounded by that. But it creates a toughness, like a ruggedness that you're not gonna get, because I'm almost the smallest guy, and you gotta think, like, I'm hanging with guys that are big dudes, and I'm
6'2", 3, 4,
monsters,
5. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I gotta be able to show that I'm tough. Like, one of my proudest moments in my life was making the Koku football team.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, and then again, we were like completely brainwashed, bro. As kids, as Koku guys, as a male out there, that's the ultimate.
Oh, that's the ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah. Next to like the Mormon guys going on their mission.
Yeah.
Like that's not like, bro, to put that jersey on and represent that, and then, but we're practicing. Our practices are, I mean, Rock, coaches now will go back and they would lose their minds on how hard we were trying to hit each other in practice.
Oh, yeah. I think in general, sports, or football-wise, because I'm more linked to football.
Right.
But even like that, like in college, like we had like 3-a-day practices at some point in training camp. Nowadays, it's like, I think 2 hour-and-a-half practices. Yeah, I'm like, what? But, obviously for the safety of the kids and the players, but it's one of those, right? You got to, kind of like walk or tread lightly on that line, because it's like, it is for safety, but at the same time too, but like the grit, you wonder about, like, do you guys really want it?
Yeah.
Like, is the grit there? But, talking about, the fighting, growing up, the environment, what are some values that you took away, being in the, like yourself? Because, I'm, we're going to lead into, your profession now and what you're doing, but what are some values that you took away from that community that kind of stood with you throughout your life?
Yeah, I mean, this is a loving community.
Yeah.
So I learned to be loving. I learned to be strong. I learned to be a leader, to speak up for myself.
Yeah.
I learned grit. I learned determination. Because of how it's wired out there in terms of like Koku football, the whole community is just competitive.
Yeah.
And so, like, that is contagious. That shapes like how I compete. Like, I don't like to lose at anything, but you're gonna when we talk through, when we start coaching, is like you gotta learn how to compete in a way that's like positive for the people that you're helping compete. But my competitiveness comes from growing up in Laie, like, about never giving up. So I first played football. I remember I begged my mom to play football, and I was like 7th grade. And I wanted to play for Ko'olaloa. Yeah. Because they're just dogs.
Yeah, that was a team back then. Yeah.
And so, but it was like $400 to play. And my mom was like, yeah, I'm not paying $400 for you to play. And at the time, she was working at Wailua District Park. And they had the Wailua Boop Ups.
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
And so she's like, hey, it's $99 to come and play over here. So do you still want to play football? I was like, yeah.
Discount, come over here.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I want to play football. She's like, you got to catch the bus. That's how I learned to catch the city bus. So I would catch the city bus. Like, that's how bad I wanted to play football. And, man, we were terrible. I mean, just, but like some of my best friends that I still to this day, like, I have so much respect for them, is like, we were such a hodgepodge group of guys, and we were so outmatched.
Yeah.
It like by every team. You know, we would win one game. I played 2 years there. I think 7th and 8th grade. And we won one game each season, and it was like the toilet bowl, bro. You know, like the champs played the Mele Kalikimaka Bowl in the stadium, right? We played at like Cook Field, you know, and it was like, hey, toss these guys a bone, and we played like Kihei Dolphins and Village Park. Like the first year, Village Park had a football team, and Brad, we would put paint on our faces, like we were. You know, I played defensive line, like Julius Randle, and or not Julius Randle,
John Randle.
John Randle, Julius Randle's basketball.
Yeah,
he's a dog too, but yeah, and then you know, and then just like the environment of like a defeatist feeling over there, like, oh, bro, we gotta play football. Huh, look at those guys, you know, and it's like counter to what it was like when I was growing up. So it was like,
totally different culture.
Well, then I go and I play at Koku.
Yeah.
Right. So the first year I make the team is in 10th grade, and like the attitude is completely different, bro. Like nobody in there thinks we're gonna lose anything
at
bro.
all.
Like there's not even a morsel of like this could happen.
Yeah.
You know, lightning can strike me like greater chance
before we lose a game.
Before we're losing on game.
Exactly.
And then like that alone, that collective of that was like, oh, bro, you know, I'm good. Like, all these big dogs. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so that was like a big introduction to me for mindset. Yeah. Like, it's how you think and the people you surround yourself and how they think. I mean, we lost our senior year. We lost to Campbell. And I'm talking, you know, big, strong dudes. They're bawling. Yeah. Like wailing. Yeah. You know, like it's like
uncontrollably. You know what I mean?
Like Polynesian Samoans when there's death and funeral, they wail. Yeah. It's like, bro, it's like the saddest cry you've ever did hear in your life. Yeah. If you did hear that before, like you will never not know what
you'll never forget that.
Never forget it,
the
bro.
pitch,
like,
the tone,
everything, like the
volume,
intensity, the grief. I mean, that's how they were crying. Yeah. You know, because it was like this impossible thing happened. You know, and like for me, I had already experienced. I was at the Wailubu Pups cause week in and week out cause we were getting dirty lickings.
So I've had these dates before.
But it's perspective. Yeah. So like I know like, okay, tomorrow's gonna be Sunday. I gotta go do my chores when I get home. Yeah. Like it's not the end. You know, where those guys was like, it was like a death in the family. Yeah. You know,
because that's what they're almost like praised for. You know what I mean? That's the 100%. Identity. And we'll lead into that a little bit next. You know, but you know, you played football for Koku, but you know, where did you kind of get into the wrestling? Because the wrestling really is where kind of you made your career.
Yeah. I love wrestling,
coaching profession, and all that stuff. So let's talk about the transition to the wrestling part.
So I played baseball probably the longest of all my sports. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So I played baseball from when I was like 7. Yeah. And then I played all the way up varsity, and Koku baseball. I can count on one hand how many games we won in varsity. Our JV was okay, but we had a couple guys that ended up transferring out. But because of baseball, so we'd go football.
Because everybody was playing multi-sports back then. That was just like how it was back then. Not totally different from nowadays, but
so I played football, then I had a gap, and then I played baseball. Yeah. And so I started when I was a junior. I met Reggie Torres in the summer.
Shout out Coach Reggie
Torres, bro.
Legend.
And so I was working at the Summer Fund, and then, you know, he was talking about wrestling or whatever, and I was like, you know, I asked him, you think it'd be good for like a baseball guy to do wrestling for like conditioning? He's like, absolutely. You know, and so I was like, I'll go try it out. Yeah. And then, so I went my junior year, like when I was in high school, I had, my hair is like wavy. And so I had my little routine in the morning. I get my LA Looks gel. Oh, no. My routine like this. I put them in like this. Then I get a little bit more, and then I put it from the back like that. And then I go like this, and I go like that. And the thing would just fall. And I'll be like, okay. And then
I'm ready, bro.
Bro, would lock. Yeah,
once that hold comes on, you used to have the holds at the bottom, 7, 8, 9, 10,
extra max, bro. I think it was like neon green, the color.
That's why you should choose the gel. You know which one was the color that you needed. You grab me the blue, the green, whatever.
And so I remember going out for my first day, and then, you know, undershirts. Okay, so I used to wear undershirts because a lot of people. The reason why you wear undershirt, I think it's because I'm Puerto Rican. I don't know why, but I always wanted to wear undershirts.
Yeah.
But it also preserves your regular shirts.
Yeah.
Because it keeps the oils from your body.
Yeah. On that
on
one.
the shirt. So and so I used to wear undershirts, and so we had practice. I never realized I had practice. So my first day of practice, I'll never forget. I had jean shorts on. I had my undershirt, and because I had my
Your
LA
hold
looks
going
hold,
on.
bro, and I were getting there, starting sweating, and it was like, going in my mouth, and bro, it was.
And wrestling, bro, you sweat like no other,
man,
bro.
It was crazy, and like I have no skill set in terms of like any of that, and I'm going with guys that are doing have experience in. It was one of those things where like I never been so tired in my life. I never felt so confused in my life.
Yeah.
But I also was like exhilarated, like, I was like, because then I was, it just was real fun for me, like pretty much as soon as I did it the first time.
It's like people describe it as like finding their love.
Yeah, or it's like, man, this is awesome. Like, I want to get good at this, you know, and then being competitive too, right? My guys was tossing me on my back, flying on my friends that knew how to wrestle, but was picking me up, slamming me, because they had all this skill set. And but yeah, that ended up propelling me to wrestling in college.
What is the difference between the mentality that maybe a football player would have compared to like a wrestler?
So football is always played it's a team sport.
Correct.
And I think that's a big aspect of it is that there's, 11 or 10 other guys out there. You can always kind of like, well, bro, if he did his job, and it's a team exposure, so it's a shared exposure.
Yeah. At times you can take a play off, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, because there's other people to compensate for that, right? Team-wise.
And but like if you lose, the team lost. So there could be 50 other dudes that you guys share that. Wrestling, when you lose, is you.
Yeah.
Like you cannot blame the coach. You cannot blame the other person. You got to look in the mirror and you got to tell yourself like, hey, and then you're losing in front of your peers.
Yeah. Because you're on the mat in front of everybody, a whole
your
gym.
parents.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe if you're a girlfriend and you're in a little singlet. Yeah.
So I could never wrestle.
I know.
Bro.
Yeah, I mean,
the singlet just.
Bro, that was one of the reasons why I never wrestled is because I was like embarrassed to wear the singlet. And in my junior year, I put the singlet on, and I was like, bro, this thing was made for me. I had abs.
It was like an undershirt. Just
bro, I had abs. I was shredded. I was like, bro, I would live my life in this singlet. Now I wouldn't I wouldn't expose that to.
Hey, we gotta bring it back, bro. You should keep
I gotta go get some Ozempic or something, and then.
I still remember, bro. So every sport would come out, do like a pep rally, but the wrestling team would roll out the mats, actually do like drills and moves.
Yeah,
right?
try to recruit.
I couldn't get over the fact they came out with their singlets. And I was like, bro, I just couldn't, because you know what I mean. I was like, I know it's like a mental tough sport, prepare you. But I was like, bro, I just couldn't get over it, bro.
But so now they actually made adjustments, and like you can wear like a rash guard and a shorts. And it's a funny thing is like. Coach at Kamehameha, and the thing came out, and like 100 kids wrestling. So I said, hey, do you guys want the school to buy these, top and the shorts?
Yeah.
And just a poll to see how many people would be interested. You know how many kids were interested in it?
What?
0.
Wow.
But that's at Kamehameha Kapalama.
Yeah.
Like it was that was never an issue. And the guys would be like, I had comments like, if you don't want to wear a singlet, then don't wrestle.
Yeah.
I mean, but. We don't have a problem with numbers, so I see how, that could sway somebody. But bro, I'm telling you, have you ever put a singlet on that actually could fit you?
I never put a singlet. I think the closest thing was like in football we wore tights on away cold games. But we covered better, in some Jordan shorts over the
singlet is way better, bro.
But you wrestled in high school, and then you went to college, correct?
Yeah.
So take us through that journey of life of like, because really like wrestling for you in that environment really provided what you're doing today. So like, where was that, the love for wrestling in high school, led you to college, and like, tell us that experience.
Yeah. So, I was fortunate enough to go to Pacific University and wrestle under Frank Johnson and Mike Clark. Yeah. And the thing about Frank Johnson was he actually was living in Maui and was a head coach of Baldwin for 4 years. Then he got the job at Pacific. So he was heavily recruiting Hawaii boys because he coached them and he knew like
what they could offer. You know what I mean?
And so, he brought in all these Hawaii boys and everybody in there was like a state champ. I was in a state champ, and and he put together this freshman class of like maybe like 40 something dudes, and we talking, you know, state champs from Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, state players from California, state champs from Alaska. I mean, tough dudes. And this is my third year wrestling ever. And so, you know.
Yeah, it's not like you start at the youth level, so you have all these years of experience. Like, you just right out of high school, right? In the action. You know what I mean?
But that was actually
it's like walking to a laundromat again. Like, bro,
and so, like, for me, because I just started and I was so hungry to get better, I had a really good growth mindset. I never saw, like, I always think, like, even if I lost wrestling matches, I would always be like, if I had more time.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, you know, if it wasn't just 6 minutes, I had more time. I mean, it's like a coping mechanism, you know. But
it's kind of good though in a way, because you evaluate your performance, and you're always like you kind of like put yourself always in that winning mindset. Like it wasn't today, next time. You know what I mean? Because some people just they take the loss and it's like,
oh, it's so hard.
It's so hard. It's over. Like they can't even see past that. So I think that's a great, you know, aspect to look at things too.
Yeah. I always look at it as like, hey, you know, hopefully we get to do this again, and hopefully the outcome can be better. You know, like. That would be like playing a video game and dying one time and then throwing the game away
and never playing it again.
You know. But the transition was rough for me. The first part that was rough for me was the academic side. I graduated Koku with honors, but you know, I don't recall ever doing any homework at home. And I got through it. You know, however, I got through it. When I went to Pacific, I didn't have good study habits, and. So there was an internet at the time. I think internet might have just came out, you know, and computers, everything started switching to computers. And so, you know, I had to spend a lot of time learning how to type. And then, like, I was the only guy, me and another guy from Koku who went up. But the rest of the kids that were up there were like, most of them came from private schools or like Moanalua, Pro City, where they're, you know, this... And the kids that were coming were like super studious kids. And so, like, I think my GPA dropped from high school was 3.1, and then my first semester was 1.8.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And like,
there's a lot of factors too, but you go to college, there's more freedom.
Oh, yeah.
You're on your own. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think there's a lot that plays into that too.
And wrestling, transitioning. So I was really focused on wrestling.
At a high level like that too.
And so I was doing everything I could to get better at that, but not taking care of my business. And, so, you know, that's the first time I've ever been on something like that. And they're like, you know, if you don't get your grades up, you ain't coming here anymore. And so I dug myself out of that hole. But, you know, I had really good professors and that would help me. So we'd have this first year seminar professor named Scott Toomey. So each freshman got given like kind of an advisor, and he was my advisor. He's like a doctorate in piano. I mean, unreal. Like, and he helped me... he sent me to the writing center, and so like I spent probably like 2.5 years of college in the writing center, like all on my own with these guys, and being around other people that know how to study, like how I knew how to wrestle or practicing wrestling, like they were applying that to how they study. But the level of wrestling was like. You know, when I came in there, my teammate Troy Hall, who was same age as me, freshman, I mean, I couldn't even get to his legs for like the first 4 to 5 months.
Wow.
And then, you know, when I got to his legs, then I couldn't even finish a takedown. You know, but you know, Troy is I think he's a 2-time All-American, ends up becoming a 2-time All-American, but that level that I was training with consistently and just that effort to get in and try was. When I would go with guys that weren't as good, like when I came back my freshman year, Christmas, because I didn't make the traveling team for wrestling. I came back and I wrestled. I mean, it was like day and night, like how much better I got. And these are guys that are going with that have been training a long time and are my training partners. That was like, wow, they're not even.
How important is that? Like, you know, because I think, you know, athletes. If they're not, you know, I guess primed in their mental state, right? They'll be around really good people and be defeated, right? And it's like, fuck, I don't even want to train with these guys because I look like a fool, you know what I mean? I look ashamed, whatever. But you just explained, like, man, when you're around high performing people, it's gonna lift you up. It's gonna make you better in all kind of ways. Like mentally, you're gonna have to push to even just try and just keep up with them. Yeah. And then also too is you're gonna have to learn like, shoot, how can I, compete with these guys?
Yep.
So I mean, like, touch upon like the importance of people being able to see that and then stick with it.
Yeah, I think it's like humbling yourself. So like for me, because I was always seen as like I'm just learning this thing, and these guys, I always looked at these guys as like wealth of knowledge. And even though we're peers, they've been wrestling longer, and all of them are open books. So I would ask Troy, like, bro, how are you so good, man?
Yeah.
Like I can't even get to your legs, and like, bro, your conditioning is unreal. Like, and he's like, why? I do this, and I run, and I was like, okay. So then now I go run with Troy, right? Like I'm running with him, and like he's on another level. Like we lived in Forest Grove, and there's like streets. So it's like number streets, first street, second street, third
almost
street,
like
fourth street.
a little bit.
Yeah. And each one's kind of like a block. And we would kind of run this big block, and then Troy would run, and then he would sprint down the street, sprint up and sprint back, and then loop back, and then continue running with me.
Oh damn.
And like that's the level of like what he was doing, like consistent. Hey, come to practice. He's like, hey, let's go. Like, come to practice before practice.
Get a pre-practice.
Yeah, and we're in, and we're drilling, and we're going, and we're trying, and then we're scrapping, and it's like, okay, now, but that's like my whole freshman year. These guys, some of these guys, you got to remember, like, some of these guys are like 2-time, 3-time state champions. So in their wrestling room, the likelihood of them being taken down or put to their back is probably like very little by the time that they're seniors.
Yeah. Because
they pretty much beat everybody that they went against. Then you transition up to the level of collegiate, and you have guys that are now like 20 years old, 21 years old, that have been wrestling at a collegiate level for 3 years. A freshman, and some freshmen, they can immediately come in and make impact. I'm not saying about most freshmen will come in and they'll get taken down. The most they ever got taken down in 3 years in one practice.
Yeah.
And because of that, a lot of them break.
If there was a transfer portal back then, what do you think the odds would have been?
Guys bouncing.
Yeah, exactly.
All over the place. I mean, I was talking break. They wouldn't even bounce. These guys get broken to where they quit the sport.
Have you ever, because you've been around such high caliber performers, right, in the wrestling world?
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time where you like failed like miserably and was like, but you took away something from that you probably like used for your leadership skills today?
Oh, I fail so much. It's just my job to fail. but I in terms of training or in terms of like my own wrestling?
I say wrestling, just being that you've been around those guys, right? Like where you took like a defeat where you like,
was hard. Yeah.
It was hard, but you took it like, and that's something that you apply like, we can touch upon, your new venture now.
I would say, in the wrestling room, one time that I feel, so we have a guy, and he's probably like I wrestled 165 in college, and he's a 184 pounder, and you can go up and you can vary like, a couple weight classes and wrestle, and there's kind of like unwritten rules when you're doing that, right? So I'm the smaller guy coming up, like you're not really supposed to like use all your weight, use all your strength and all that, and you definitely like, well, maybe just as my rules, like you definitely shouldn't be like pounding on my head, right? Because you're bigger, stronger guy, and like it hurts, and I don't want to have a headache, and we're practicing, and so we had a guy that was his move, right? He would do that to his opponents, and everyone get fired. Like it was a tactic, and he was good at it. And so he would try, and he would club guys, and then he would shake them like this, like jostle you, and like whack his forearm on your collarbone, and like punk you around. Like most guys don't like that, right? And so, and he has heavy hands, and so we're going, and then so he starts banging on my head, and I'm like, bro, hey, okay, like, and so I kind of step back, and he's like, what? I'm like, oh, what are we doing? And so lock back in, boom, he go like jostles my head, and then we go again to a little scramble, whatever, get to my feet. At that point, I told myself, like, I lost composure, bro, and I'm like, if he clubs me again, I'm gonna let him pull me, and I'm gonna uppercut him soon as he pulls me in.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna get.
He don't catch one.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and so sure enough, I get up, he does it, boom, and bang, I rock him, drop. It goes down like a back, boom, like down.
In spot, you know what I mean?
And then the other guys grab me, they're like, whoa, you know, and this and that. And like, for me, I think like the learning lesson for that was like, could I have dealt with that, you know,
handle it
that's
a little
the
bit better
easiest,
in a different way.
the easiest way to handle that is the violent way, you know. And like now in leadership, you can't utilize the physical violence to make somebody change their behavior.
Yeah.
You know, at that time, it wasn't equipped for, hey, you know what? Like, hey, this is an opportunity for me to keep practice my composure, and see if I can wrestle when somebody's trying to ruffle my feathers. Because guess what? If I did that in a match and it was for a dual meet points, I cost my team points because I'll get disqualified.
Yeah.
And that's selfish. You know, like you gotta. So I think for me, that's probably one of my more disappointing. And bro, my teammate, like, bro, I love that guy, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and we still cool, and we talk story about that, and you know, but like I think that is something where it's like you got to put yourself back and utilize an opportunity from something that, you know, my knee-jerk reaction is like my default is aggression, which is good and helpful in wrestling or football, but it's not good in another setting, you know, when you're managing people.
So, you know, as we go through your I kind of want to lead into, you know, you getting to the coaching part.
Yeah.
You know. But there's a one story, right? Back in your day during wrestling, you guys had to fundraise, huh?
Oh yeah.
So talk about some. Did we talk about a funny or a light, you know, fundraising experience? Because I don't think kids know that. But today, you'll never hear fundraising in college. Back then, you guys had to
we're Division III, you know, and we you know, 1998, I go up there in August, and then September 3rd, we have our first fundraising thing, right? And to be honest, I don't even know what we fundraised for, but we always stayed in gyms, like we ate bagels and Gatorade, like, but whatever. And we drove in vans that the school provided. But our coach signed us up to do a Metallica at Meadowlands or Portland Meadows. It's like a horse track race or stuff. And so, you know, we're there and like I'm fresh from Laie, fresh from like Koku, you know, and we get up to this thing and it's I mean, there's like 30,000 people there, and they give us these security shirts, these bright pink shirts, and you know, that's how we can identify who's those security guys. And then they walk us to the front of the stage, and then the stage is like, you know, there's a barrier or space between the stage and the actual stage. So the stage is like this,
that little buffer,
and then there's a little step that you can step up, and it elevates you so you can see the crowd. So we have two lines of people. We have one set of security guys on the step, and we have one set of security guys behind us. Yeah. And so I don't know. I don't know if this is like the etiquette of it or whatever, but it seems like it was pretty coordinated, and everyone seemed like they know what they're doing. But people were like getting into mosh pits, right?
And if you're from Hawaii, you're not really familiar with mosh pit. They're like people falsing each other.
What they do is they run in a circle. Yeah. And while they run in a circle, it's like they're throwing their arms, and people are banging into each other, and so, you know, people get trampled and, you know, beat up. And so what happens is the crowd will crowd surf them to the front. Anyway, these like lifeless bodies, bro, you know, coming to us, and we grab them, and then they shuffle them down, and there's like a medical tent that is like off to the side, and I, you know, I don't know what happens from there, but and then my buddy Edwin was standing right next to me, and we see this thing out of a corner of our eye. Someone threw a Jack Daniels bottle. Oh damn! Yeah, hit him in his head. Boom, and he like split him open, and he went to the medical tent, and they had to like stitched them up, and he got like a drumstick from the Metallica drummer for like 6 stitches.
It's like a popsicle after a young kid.
And he's like, I don't know what this is, but he and so now Metallica's on, and they start like the crowd is like starting to, you know, semi-circle the stage, and so it's getting to a point to where, you know, it's coming in, and they need us to like push the crowd back. And so we start like interlocking arms, and there's guys behind us like
hold the line,
pushing us like this.
Hold the line,
and we're like smashing like this. And then Coach Johnson was there, and at that time, I don't know if the guitar, someone throws picks, the guitar picks, and people are reaching and grabbing these picks, and this lady catches the pick, and a guy grabs her arm, and he's like, this and that, bro. Coach Johnson like goes right and goes, what? And bro, just starts throwing, bro, and he's like smokes this guy, and then he starts like. Everyone starts coming around, so he doesn't know like who's there to help, who's there to not help. Everyone's getting. So I'm like, oh, it's getting screen light. So I'm in there, I'm bombing on everybody, right? And that was my first time I like had an actual interaction with Coach Johnson, bro.
That was a mean fundraiser, bro.
Oh man, someone got stitches. I got to throw hands and. Yeah, I mean, Coach Johnson's a little guy, man. He wrestled, he won nationals at 142, but bro, he's so funny. And then I was like, bro, this is the place for me. I like, bro, this is the guy for me. He's my dog. Like, and so yeah, he's the head coach for Linfield now.
Oh, nice, nice. So college, you have your experience in college. What I really want to kind of tap into is kind of like your profession. You got into the coaching world for wrestling, and then because I want to lead that up into the leadership part. I think you have so much great, so much great detail for like how you coach and then like the mindset that I definitely want to spend some time on. But talking to leading and you becoming like a wrestling coach, because it wasn't just for, young kids. You were coaching like MMA athletes. Yeah. I mean, Brad Tavares is one of the first guys I met through you, when you bring out to Cook and stuff like that. I remember some of these guys coming to King Intermediate training and stuff like that. So talk about how you got into the coaching world of that.
Yeah, so I started by coaching through training, essentially. So I got into jiu-jitsu in like 1999. Yeah. I started training at Pupukea Rec Center. It doesn't even exist anymore, with this guy, Joel Marias. Brazilian guy, was awesome. And I was doing this in between while I was wrestling. So it was good that I just started wrestling because I started jiu-jitsu only like 3 years after I started wrestling. And so I hadn't been so locked into being like just a wrestler and rigid that I was able to transition to do jiu-jitsu. And I met great guys over there. JD, he runs Sunset Beach Jiu-Jitsu. When I got there, he was already a purple belt. This is in '99, and JD's awesome at Sunset Beach. Leaf, Leaf was training there.
Yeah. And bro, Leaf is a hammer, but he's such a cool guy.
Oh, Leaf is a hammer,
humble, like, bro, you would,
and that's what makes him even more of a hammer. Yeah. It's like, bro, his temperament, who he is. Leaf's always been like that, bro.
Yeah, I do have to say this, and this, I might be coming out of pocket on this one, but all the hammers in MMA that I've been able to either work with, or be friends with, have like some type of relationship with, are the most coolest guys, bro.
Yeah,
they would never even show like them fighting. Like from my experience, bro, the coolest guys talk story, just humble, whatever. And then you get like the guys that just always want to shadow box in front of the mirror, always want to punch the bag. I'm just saying like total opposites, bro. Yeah. And I'm just like, I always tell myself, because I used to have this conversation with Kai Kamaka, we used to all work in the same group. I used to be like, bro, you guys are all the most coolest guys, but why does all the other guys that can't even fight always gotta be the loudest ones? You know what I mean? Like,
it's a confidence, right? But some of these guys, you're meeting them at a time that they're,
I guess so,
they're older and more mature, bro. Because some of these guys are out there, in them streets, making a name for themselves. Actually, almost all of them. So
it was like the UFC one, huh?
No
like, gloves, bro, no rules.
They're just younger, more, and once you start transitioning to make that being your livelihood, you gotta act a type of way, but you got to remember that these guys are fighting for free, right? So they got nothing to lose, and they all like to have a good time. They all like to party, and a lot of them are really big troublemakers, but they're not going to engage, but if engaged, So So I think you're getting to meet a lot of them, a lot more refined. I got to meet some of these guys. Well, at the beginning, even myself, I wasn't refined
before the refining process.
Exactly, right. We were wild animals, but you gotta have a little bit of that. Like I could tell guys that fought, that never did have a street fight before. to guys that were like had street fights, I can tell the difference.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, what are some of those differences?
Just their demeanor when they go out there, their comfort when they're in there. Guys that are more traditionally, like, I just went to an MMA gym. I never had a fight in my life. Their movements are seem to be a lot more scripted, you know. And somebody who's been in the streets, they're a lot more loose. Yeah. And just
the flow is different.
Like Frankie Edgar. You can tell Frankie Edgar got down in the streets, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, just his attitude, he's not scared of anybody. Their demeanor in terms of how they interact with people, you can tell, like, bro, he's got some demons, bro. And guys that are like more traditionally trained, and it's not a knock about any side of it, right? But it's like there's a distinct.
Is there a person that you ever met that you was, I mean, besides Frankie Edgar, but somebody that you met where you're like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, had all of that stuff, like, but just so composed, so, you know what I mean? Just was like somebody that you always remembered.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think BJ Penn was like that. Max Holloway is like that.
Yeah.
Matt Kumo is like that. Brandon Wolf is like that.
Wolf, yeah.
Yeah.
And these guys are all guys that you had like some type of either training experience with, you had a relationship, friendship with.
This is not me making
up. Just tossing out names. Yeah.
These guys beating me up.
Yeah. So if you guys are tuning in, I mean, like, Rob really has trained all these guys that
trained with,
you know, these guys that he's listing. Not like somebody just going, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Brad Tavares.
Yep. And like I said, I met Brad through you. You used to bring him to the Cuckoo games when I was coaching back under Reggie, you know, so I mean, that goes back a long time.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean, it's that it factor, you know. So so back to how I got into it, right? So I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I'm enjoying it, and in between I'm flying up, and I'm flying to going back to school in Oregon, and so I find a place called Straight Blast Gym. Tom Oberhue and Mike Chapman, and they're still training. They have Impact Jiu-Jitsu, I think, is Mike Chapman, and then Tom Oberhue is Five Rings Jiu-Jitsu. But these guys were like my coaches when I was up there. And then what I did was I created a grappling club at Pacific.
Okay.
And so I would recruit all my wrestling buddies.
And this is after you're done wrestling already?
No, this is simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
So this is when wrestling season.
Oh, you're creating groups and
because I want to train.
Yeah,
so what I would do is I would go to jiu-jitsu with Tom and Mike Tuesday, Thursdays, and then I would do grappling club Wednesday, Friday. And then what I learned from the Tuesday, I would teach the guys.
Yeah.
Or some other guys I would just be like, come and grapple, like, see, and then I would just try the stuff out.
What made you think like that?
I don't know.
That's kind of interesting. You know
I wanted to get super good.
Yeah.
And so
because that's creative, bro. Like what you just did. You know what I mean?
So you know, I learn it, and I'm like, I know how I learn best. Like I cannot just learn something. In order for me it to stick, I have to
apply it. Yeah.
Right?
And that's one thing I love about your coaching style, bro, is because I watch, you know, there's coaches out there that just constantly just yell or talk, you know, verbally, right?
Yeah.
But you're one to, like, I've seen you sit down on the mat, go through the motions. Oh, here, this is how we're gonna do it, like hands on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I've always appreciated that, your style of coaching.
Yeah, you know, but so the original one, like, is more devious. Like I would tell some of my wrestling guys to come, and I'd be like, jiu-jitsu is unreal, bro. Like wrestling, and they would come and and then I would be able to actually try the moves on them, and then they would come more often.
Yeah.
And then it was like, you know what? They didn't know anything. They're good at wrestling, but it wasn't even fun for me.
Yeah.
So then I was like, you know, I got to teach these guys, because now I don't want to just like submit guys that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, like don't know.
Like the beginning is fun because I'm like, you know,
catching the wins.
You know, yeah. But over time, I'm like, man, is that really helping me? Like, because
you're not getting a competitive edge either.
No.
You know what I mean? Against.
And so when I go back to Straight Blast Gym, there's jiu-jitsu guys there that are good. So then now I gotta like help these guys get better so I can get better. And so my buddy Guy Delamo, who's in Japan, fought for years. The guy from this grappling club that we had at Pacific Grappling, Puai Suganuma used to be in it. He fought. He fought MMA. Guy Delamo.
How did MMA in sorry to stop you? How did MMA in Japan get so big? Because I mean, there's Pride and all that stuff. I'm not a huge.
They're a
MMA
warrior.
Guy, but
K1. Japan loves that kind of stuff, warrior type stuff.
Because back in the day, you think like sumo, right?
Professional wrestling was really big out there. So their professional wrestling is different than America's professional wrestling. They have shoot matches, and it's almost like real fights.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like predetermined.
Wasn't it kind of used to wear like the black shin guards?
That's Boss Rutan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something
So
like
that's
that.
he was fighting in pancrase. So like the rules was like open palms. Yes. Yeah. So that's pancrase. But Japan's, judo's. Japan's a warrior. They're
Country.
They're warriors, bro. Yeah, they like that. Like, have you seen Inoue, the boxer, the monster? They call him?
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's so crazy. Yeah. But yeah, so Japan is always been. That's how jujitsu started, from a guy going to Japan and teaching Helio Gracie. His guy's name was Kimura, and his kind of stuff, and then Helio like transitioned it and made it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Helio is Hoist Gracie's dad.
He's he's like the creator of. I mean, I'm gonna get all these Jiu-Jitsu guys coming at me, but Helio's the man. Kimura came down from Japan. They had an exhibition match, and from there he kind of like developed his style because he was a smaller guy, and so he developed the traditional jiu-jitsu. And there's Carlson Gracie and there's all these other guys that I don't know the full details of it, but these are like the OGs.
I just remember Hoist Gracie in that first UFC.
Hey, do you know who Rickson Gracie is?
No.
Oh, dude, Rickson Gracie. So the reason why they put Hoist Gracie in the UFC is because of how he looked. He wasn't the best.
Yeah.
He was probably
the guy that everybody underestimated.
Yeah.
That they was like, we're going to beat this
Rickson
guy.
Gracie.
Yeah.
Rickson Gracie is the eldest, super put together. I mean, record of like 400 and all kind.
Oh, wow.
Like next level.
Yeah.
Like the GOAT. And so what they didn't want to do is, and Rickson is put together. They didn't want to put Rickson out there.
Because Hoist had like a dad bod.
He just looks like a scrawny guy. Like you look at that guy, there's no way he's gonna beat Chemo, right? Who's just jacked, and so that was like very intentional. So speaking, here's a shout out to Laie and the UFC. Yeah, so Big T fought, right?
The very first one.
But did you know this? So when they did a 30 for 30 on ESPN about the first UFC. Everybody got all the guys in this and that. And when it came down to it, they did this rules meeting. And everyone had their contracts in front of them.
Yeah.
And, they had to sign to get this going. People go, okay, well, what is this rules meeting? This thing says there's no rules.
Yeah.
Well, you cannot grab an individual digit. So they're starting to add all these rules. And so guys are kind of like going back and forth. So this is like putting the actual show in jeopardy of going on.
Yeah.
Right? As they're doing this and that, Big T gets up and he starts walking out. Everyone goes, oh.
Yeah, what you doing?
T, what's up? Where are you going? He's like, hey, I signed my paper. I came here to rock and roll. Let me know where we, and basically then everyone signed their papers, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Big T, bro.
Legend, man.
He's like, bro, I'm not here for any of this. I'll sign this paper. Let's roll.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, so doing that was like my first kind of like experience. Coaching.
You're still in it, but you're coaching too.
You got to understand, like I went to school. I got my degree in exercise science. So it's, exercise, movement, kinesiology. So I'm really into movement and how to move efficiently and physical literacy, that's stuff that I've been studying. And I got my master's degree in the art of teaching and in physical education, right? So that's coaching.
Yeah.
Right. I'm already coaching kids how to be physically literate, coaching kids how to move, coaching kids to enjoy exercise, teaching them how to set goals, teaching them how to, find a physical activity that they enjoy for a lifetime, and so because of that, because of my background, and I was teaching kids, right? I moved back home. I was still training. I was like after I left Joel Marias, or he left, he moved back to Brazil And then so I started going to Grappling Unlimited, that's where Ige Inoue was there.
Okay, and this is the time. This is an era where like MMA was really making its
starting
wave.
to pick up.
Yeah,
They were
especially in
the
Hawaii.
fights were at Gussie Lamore's, and then which was by the airport. I mean, dude, when the thing first started, like you go to Gussie Lamore's, and the guys that were in the crowd, hey, who wants to sign up to fight?
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah, signing up and banging it out, bro.
Wow.
Guys getting stretched. No rules, bro. Like punch to the groin and everything.
Oh,
yeah, like not yeah.
Yeah, we're construction all day. You can sign
Oh,
up
bro.
right at night.
So, and then he like win some beers. Or like I don't know what they won. I mean pride, but yeah. So that was like the original kind of like, and then TJ Thompson as the promoter of Super Brawl Icon. He starts to promote Super Brawl. And that's when we start to see like the Jesus is Lord guys, Brada Cooper, Bozo Pauling, Ronald June, Babo Ostovich, Kavika Palui.
Because now in this time, it's like in my time, it's like their sons or their daughters, right?
Yes,
that carry on the name that we all know, right?
Yeah. These are the OGs,
Yeah.
And these are the guys that I grew up watching, like Kavika Palui. I remember going to the Blizzard and watching him, and he fought Bobby Southworth, and Bobby Southworth was went to the UFC. I mean, he's no chump. And I was sitting in the upper risers, and the bell rings, and they walk out, and the first exchange, Kavika threw punches, and it was like the loudest punches I ever did hear, like connect on somebody's face, and Southworth was out, and I was like,
damn. Yeah.
And simultaneously
Who's
I'm watching
he
the
to
UFC.
Raquel? Like,
that's their father.
okay.
That's Raquel.
I know Bubba was playing football when I was kind of playing
Bubba was
football.
a beast too. Yeah. And ended up becoming a special forces guy. But so those guys were fighting, and then Egan was fighting. Egan was fighting, and Barrett Yoshida was also fighting, and they were kind of fighting in Japan. Enson Inoue was fighting. He went in the UFC. He submitted Hoist Alger, who was like a Iowa multiple-time national champion, and Ensign tapped him out, and then Ensign was like a big. Ensign and Egan were like professional racquetball players in big time in Japan, so they did a lot of their fighting in Japan. And I mean, Ensign was fighting Pride. If you want to see legendary fights, go watch Ensign versus Igor Vachanchin. I mean, he just Ensign's. It's called Yomato Damashi, like it's his way of fighting, and the way he treats life is like, he's willing to die when he fights, and you watch that fight, and he's just getting hurt over and over again, and he's everything, he's throwing with everything, always sort of like to not stop, like he was so bust up after that to carry him after, and Ensign is a warrior. So these are the guys that are like, okay, and simultaneously, like grappling is starting to blow up a little bit. So they have something called the Abu Dhabi ADCC, Abu Dhabi Combat Club, and it's like the world's best grapplers. They fly to Abu Dhabi, because this prince in Abu Dhabi loves it, and they do this tournament. They still have it now. It's like a lot different, but back then was like for all the top guys, and like Egan was going up there, and like competing and doing good, and Barrett was going up there, like took second in the world. Like lost to Hoyler Gracie or something. Like that's the type of talent that Hawaii had. Like Barrett, he opened up a school out in Eva, out in the Boys and Girls Club, or not Boys and Girls Club, but like this right before you get into Eva. But like, man, he never even have students. People weren't even coming, and like I would go over there and train with him, and it would just be me and him. We would wrestle, and it's like, wow, that was like one of the best grapplers in the world, and he had to move away. He had to move away, and he's doing it full time up there. But I wish he could have stayed, because he was like, he's so small. He used to stretch me out, and just choke me out like Mike a lot. I got so good at jiu-jitsu by getting lickings from him, bro. Like
tangled up,
and he loved it because he wanted to get better at wrestling. So we would all start on our feet, and we would all wrestle. And he was super good at wrestling too. And one time we were at Grappling Unlimited. He probably doesn't even remember this, but I remember this. Grappling Unlimited in the front had a ring, and we had trained. We did whatever, and he said, "Hey, what? You want to do some rounds after?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'll go in the ring." And so he said, "Go in the ring, go in the ring," and he set a timer. And I think it was like 5-minute rounds. And he's in the corner, I'm in the corner. Bing, go out, go wrestle, wrestling, trying to go to submission, wrestling. Ding, ding, ding. And then we go back to the corner. Bing, we're going back to the corner. And back to I mean, bro, I was like, to the point to where, you know, I'm like, bro, like, how long are we doing this?
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome, but like, bro, we
Paul
did.
yet?
But that's how locked in he is.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was like, his attention to detail. Like, you talk about somebody that like created moves or created systems for submissions. Like, that's how high level he is. But he had the killerish triangle choke. Then he started getting, he would dominate this move and make it his own. People would be like, oh, bro, Barrett's triangle. And then he would switch the move. And then he'd be like, bro, Barrett's guillotine. And now he does this like crucifix, like guard that he created. And I remember him doing this on me. I'm like, and like trialing it out. And now I see him like he has a full system. Anyway, that kind of stuff I can geek out. Like that's like so next level.
Yeah. And so for you in this period, you know, you get hired actually as a MMA, you know, as a wrestling coach, right, for an MMA gym.
Yeah.
Right?
So after Brandon Wolf created his own gym called Mixed Martial Arts Development, him and Nico and Kaipo Kalama built a little gym out in the back of his house. And yeah, Brandon calls me up because we had trained together at Grappling Unlimited. And he's like, yeah, hey, I want you to come down here. I was living in Haliva at the time, and I want you to coach MMA. Or not MMA, I want you to coach wrestling. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. So I would do it Saturday morning, 7 a.m.
For a certain reason.
Because if I'm going to go down there, I've always been an early bird, and I like training in the mornings. And
because even at your house, when I first, you know, used to come to your house 6 a.m.
6 in the morning.
Yeah,
that's my jam.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it like helps you do something hard in the morning. That does something for you.
Sets your tone for the day.
Yeah, you know, and so I know that these guys, again, like, you know, the guys who had in the gym, like, they're serious and they're talented, but they're also young and they're also still wanting to go out and you know, do that, have that type of lifestyle. And so I'm like, we go 7 a.m. Saturday, and you know, we're gonna run wrestling practice, bro.
Yeah.
And
we getting after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
whatever your condition is, coming in.
You show up.
Yeah.
You know, like if you want to go party, you know, what is the saying? If you're gonna stay up with the owls, you better be ready to soar in the morning with the eagles. You know, something like that. Yeah, like if you're gonna stay up late and cruise with the night owls, then you better be ready to soar in the morning with the eagles, bro. Then I got no complaints.
Yeah.
You know,
they showed up, they did their thing.
and you know, the guys are puking and all that, and was super raw. Like, you know, we were developing. So Leandro Niza was the jiu-jitsu coach, and he's phenomenal. You know, unreal. And Niza has a good background. And so, you know, we're collaborating together along with the boys, Brandon and all those guys. We're trying out like what's the best strength and conditioning, what's the best way to, you know, incorporate takedowns, incorporate the wall. And taking fights and testing and evaluating and then coming up with a good system that, you know, that help us sustain some success and send some of these guys to the next level, the UFC. You know.
So how long did this period, I guess, take place where you're a wrestling coach for, you know, MMAD, right? And then you kind of get into where you start focusing more on the school part and all that stuff. Because that's then you get into Kamemel as a, you know, AD. Right?
Yep.
And I really want to kind of start narrowing in on top of your mindset and this new thing that you're into now.
Yeah. So, you know, I think because I coach adults, it really, and in wrestling, I coach adults wrestling, it really, really helped me be able to coach kids. Coaching adults is a lot harder because they come with a lot more knowledge or things. They have habits that you got to work out. Kids, they don't tend to have that. And so my old wrestling coach, Mike Clock, was always telling me that, hey, you got to go back and coach. You got to give back. You got to give back to wrestling, da-da-da-da. And so Chris West, he was the head coach at Kameme at the time. Shout out Chris West.
One good story real quick about Chris West is that when we worked together, bro, like there's a period where we're, you know, you're a certain age where you got to be in shape, you got to stuff. Bro, this guy used to take me on lunch, go hit mitts. We used to go run down the beach, bro. Like, wow, Chris, awesome guy, bro. So these are all these guys you're naming, bro. I have a pleasure of, you know, being able to work with them, and, you know, shout out to them because, man, they're great people, man. Yeah,
and so, you know, Chris asked me, and then I'm like, he asked me to take over the intermediate program, and so I did that, and it was great. I love coaching intermediate. And then from there, I was coaching the intermediate, and then I rose up to. In 2016, I started. I got a vice principal job at Kamehameha. Simultaneously became the head coach for the varsity team.
Mm-hmm. All at the same time.
And my daughter was born in September of that. So October, I get all those things, and then I start coaching the varsity. And, when you take over the program, you do the evaluation of what you have and what you want to do and how you want to run your program, right? Like, for me, it all starts from creating a purpose statement.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted our student athletes to develop the courage to persevere on and off the mats.
Mm-hmm.
That was our purpose statement for wrestling. So again, we want the kids to develop the perseverance, or develop the courage to persevere on and off the mat. So our two values is courage and perseverance. So through our coaching and through everything, our kids the value that they're going to pull out of this is going to be those two.
Yeah.
So now the next step for us was like creating a system and looking. Wrestling is such a non-glamorous sport.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get the accolades that it should, right? Like the baseballs and the footballs and all that. And so, wrestling numbers can be low at schools because, kids don't want to wear singlet. I mean, it's hard, it's sweaty, the room is gross, there's ringworms, there's so much things telling you not to do it.
Yeah.
And so, what we have to do is we have to recruit, right? We have to recruit kids to come, like from within the school. At Kamehameha, there's so many kids and there's so many athletes and there's so many different sports that when you get to a certain, like soccer and basketball, which is same season as wrestling, there's not enough spaces on teams for amount of players. And so what I found was, I know when the cuts are happening, I'm over there, I'm going, hey, you want to try wrestling?
Yeah.
Just to fill your time and this and that. And we get people to come.
Kind of ease the blow too, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Make
and try something else out,
and
then sometimes those kids transition and they become wrestlers. We have to, and then we got to make it fun for them. But we have to define what is fun. We're not playing games, bro. Like, that's the thing.
How do you elaborate that a little bit more on that of having fun, but we're not playing games?
Yeah. So what is your definition of fun? Is you need to be clear with the people that you're coaching, the kids that you're coaching. So my definition of fun, like the funnest time, I think, in the practice room is when bodies are hitting the deck and, it's hot, it's sweaty, and when you leave practice, everything is sore, even your fingernails. That's my definition of fun. So if that's not your definition of fun, you're probably not going to have fun in here.
Yeah, because we're not aligned on what our fun is.
Who gets to choose what's fun and what's not fun? Who decides that?
The person going through it?
Yeah. Like, you decide what's fun. What you think is fun, I might not think is fun.
Yeah.
So that's the mindset of it. Is like, bro, you get to determine what's fun and what's not fun.
Because if you say this is fun and I feel like that's fun too, we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
I promise you that. I promise you that you're going to have fun in here.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like, okay, I've got to have fun, we're going to play games and this and that. Like, to me, wrestling is the game. That's the funnest part of it, is wrestling, right? So getting the kids to understand that, like, the hard work is the fun. Then you're gonna have some people that come, you're gonna have some people that are gonna decide it's not for them. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But in that level, once you kind of start to set that, then you can start to push it. When I first took over, I could run a practice, and so we measure our practices by pounds, okay? Because the kids weigh in and they weigh out. So a hard practice, a kid could lose 10 pounds in a really hard practice.
In one practice?
One practice.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you sweat a lot, but I didn't know 10 pounds.
Yeah, 10 pounds.
That's crazy.
And depending on the size, how they're the bigger guys
could
sweat
use that
a lot
right
more.
now.
100%. I could put you through
I go 30 right now.
I could put you through a 15-pound practice if your body could take it. You know what I mean?
Smokes.
But so I could do, and then a 4-pound, 5-pound practice, That's a decent practice.
Yeah.
Right? You want to be around 6 to 7. When you really get after, get up to those 10, just to
I
test
didn't know you guys
the
was,
metal,
I didn't know you guys was that detailed in that.
Well, I am.
Yeah.
And so I could do an 8-pound practice. And wrestling is a non-cut sport. Yeah, like you sign up, you show up to practice, bro. You're on the team. Yeah, we love you.
Yeah.
But I could get 20 kids I could cut 20 kids, bro, by doing an 8-pound practice.
Yeah, because they don't cut themselves.
Yeah, because they don't know. They haven't been. This is when I first started at the varsity, right? So I go down and luckily for me that because I started with these middle schoolers from 7th grade, 8th grade, and I got to be 9th grade them, I had a good core of kids, bro, that was like on it. And so that was really, really helpful too. And I had a Terrakina on my team.
Yeah.
I mean, the Terrakinas have the
dynasty
oh
too,
man,
right?
they have the most state titles out of any last name. And Daryl Terrakina, Raina Terrakina, Coach Daryl was like one of the best wrestling coaches ever in Hawaii. And he does it. He's super awesome. I was blessed to be able to talk through with him and be when Kaisen was coming up, who ended up being a 4-time state champion, like be in the room and be the coach. But that's the baseline of the guys that Daryl Terrakina set for when the kids come in. Yeah, like his kids are ready to go.
Talking about kids being ready to go and defining what's fun, right? Because everybody has to understand like we got to be in alignment. Because if you don't align with this, it's not gonna be fun for you. So what is a piece of advice for athletes or even parents out there that's listening to this that that you can give them about learning what mental toughness is about, or how to even navigate, like, what is mental toughness? Like, how do I even go about that? How do I even know if I have it in me?
I mean, that's why I love wrestling, because wrestling, it's a sport, it's individual, and you versus someone else. So in middle school, why I love it is because you see kids in the match decide to be tough. Yeah. Like, a kid is on top of you, and he has a half Nelson, and he's cranking your head. It's really painful, but as you get older, you get more tough, a half Nelson won't turn you, because it's really just strength versus strength. Like his arm versus not always necessarily, but you can muscle out of a half. You can decide by looking the other direction. And when you see a kid that's going and it is, so no. Yeah. I'm not going to turn.
On this one.
And you turn their head and you just go,
As a coach for you, it's probably a gratifying
moment. Oh my God,
like,
for them. I'm more so happy for them that they decided to stand up for themselves.
That's good.
Like, a big heavyweight wrestler we had, and he's losing this match, and the kid, he's just, some kids are big boys and they're not, they've been taught to be teddy bears and be soft, be gentle, and so he's a good kid, and wrestling was tough for him, but he's big, and he had to wrestle like 9th graders when he was 7th grade.
And that's a big,
230
gap.
pounds, right? You're 12, and the guy is 15. That's a huge gap. But so for him, he's getting pushed around. He's getting pushed out of bounds. And I was like, ugh. And so the referee, he's like, stalling, and I call him over, and I'm like, bro, like, I don't care if you win this match. I just don't like you. I don't want to see you go backwards anymore. Like, you know what I mean, bro? Like, go out, let this guy fly you around and pin you. Like, decide that you're not gonna go backwards anymore. Yeah. Oh, bro, if you never go out there and say, oh yeah, coach, I can do that. Oh, he went out there, he never went backwards. God, start chasing this guy down. But I have chicken skin thinking about, because he decided, what, I'm not gonna go backwards anymore. So that's the mental toughness, because you take that and go, brother, that's life. Hey, people pushing you around. Yeah, I guess decide. You gonna keep getting pushed around, or you gonna do something about it? Yeah. And you know what? He could have pushed back, and he could have got tossed on his head. But I can take that and go, bro.
You tried,
brother. You never go backwards. Yeah. And so that's the thing, is like not putting things in terms of wins and losses. And so like parents nowadays, they want. It's called like bulldozer parents, right? They want to bulldoze any perceived obstacle so that the path is clear as possible for their kids.
As smooth as you mean.
Yeah, but that's not how life is, bro. So at this young age, you want them to develop, or you want them to experience
everything.
Yeah. So don't.
The hardest of the hard, the most painful.
Like, look to put them on. Okay, maybe your team is not winning. Okay, and maybe you don't have all the best kids on the team, but that's your neighborhood team. And these are people you live around. It's okay that they're not winning at that level. Yeah. It's okay if the coach is developing them. if they're really developing them, and I'm not just talking about developing them physically, I'm talking about mentally, by getting them through those things so that, like, hey, that they can stack and progress on it. Because when it really starts to count is when you're like a junior and senior in high school. When you yourself, I mean, some guys even before that can say, I want this. I've set this goal.
Yeah.
I want to be the best. Like, my mom never did pressure me for any of my sports. You know, I wanted to wrestle. So who am I going to go and cry to? That is hard. I chose to be over there.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Cry to myself? So, you know, you got to put your kids, like, you need, you know, it's about, and then it's about effort. It's not about the wins and losses. This is what we tell the kids all the time. We don't care if you win or lose. We care how you win or lose.
That's good.
Because here's the thing. I've watched other guys on other teams or high school teams wrestle, running away, playing the edge, you know, doing all these little cheap things, and then they win by 1 point. And I've had guys that got smashed by 14 points. That one more point, the match is over. Fight, just so they don't get tech fouled. But I'm way more proud of that than somebody who's wrestling, you know, not to engage, not to look for the pin. Look, like, so the kids know. For me, it's effort.
Yeah.
100%. Did you go or did you not go? Can you look yourself in the mirror
and tell me that you gave it all? I gave it all I got.
I did everything. And you know what? You know. You truly know. You look yourself in the mirror and you truly know. 2 things my mom did for me that really helped me with my mental toughness. That I didn't even realize, but I used to fight her on this. She had this paper, and it's in our mirror in our house, and it said, every day and every way I get better and better. So when I was like, I forget for what age, but I was young, she'd sat in the mirror, she sat right next to me, okay, I want you to read it. And I would read it. And
That's
she's
dope,
like,
man.
I want you to read it, like, good, like, really read it. And she would.
Like,
and
you
then,
mean it.
Yeah.
Like,
and then, like, well, she would force me. And then over time, I started just doing that. And my mom also was always exercise. So my mom in the mornings, she would wake up early and she would go to Hukilau Beach and she would walk. And so I would go with her.
Yeah.
So
she modeled something good for you.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
I would run. I would do it every single morning without fail. Run. So when I started wrestling, my conditioning was, I could keep a pace because I didn't even think about that. Like, I was running every morning on the beach from Hukilau to Malakahana and back. Every morning.
Yeah, that's just normal.
My calves are unreal. If you guys want to see, it's my best feature on my body.
Something I know about you.
Thanks, Mom.
Bowling ball
Whoa,
calves.
bro, I earned them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yes, I want to talk about this part because I struggle with it too as a dad. Right?
Yeah.
And I coach my own. I've coached my kids. Coach
Let's
my son
get
currently.
in it.
Yeah. How do you, for a kid who has all the potential, right? And I'll utilize myself, right? Been able to play at a level where like we reach some high levels, right? And I want that for my kids. How do you go about it? Or because you're on a side where you focus more on the mental state, and also too, we talked about this of not ruining a relationship between a parent and a kid.
Yep.
How do you push a kid to be a high performer when they're in a place where they just don't get it yet?
Yeah.
But you know that if I don't push them now, they might not get it, and they might miss this opportunity.
Let me ask you how you know that.
Probably because of myself.
Okay, so let's start with this. Let's start with facts and data.
Yeah.
To start this conversation. So, this is a question that let me see if I would even hire you to coach me. So let me ask you this question. Well, if I was to ask,
I'm in the hot seat right now.
Yeah, you are in the hot seat.
Join me.
Yeah. Answer these questions. So,
I'm interviewing.
What would if I were to ask one of your athletes, what would they say it feels like to be coached by you?
My belief in them and my push for them in learning to love the process, the work.
Okay. And would you say that they would feel like love from you?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. So, what is your definition of success?
My definition, like if we're talking about coaching an athlete,
yeah,
my definition of success is being able to see a kid that they didn't think they could do something, it click and they'd be able to do it. Or pushing past boundaries where they never thought they had it in them. And that when they believe or can buy into what we do and they stick to that they'll achieve it because of the process.
Okay. Why do you coach the way you coach?
Because I had some really good coaches. I feel like I had really good coaches. I went to IL. I didn't go to a Kuku. I didn't go to a St. Louis. I'm not knocking that. But what I'm saying is that for me to make it out of a school that, we were good at the time that I played.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, of course, you're going to have notoriety and attention and publicity at a Kuku, a St. Louis, at a Puno or whatever, Mililani, wherever. But in that time is that I've had good coaches who instilled really good values in me, who always believed in me in a sense where I may not have been performing at the way, my finished product was, but believed in the fact that I could be something, and always like had that belief and always pushed me to not like you said, not just tread the line, but really push yourself.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. So, I think we would be pretty aligned in terms of that. Like, success for me is like people setting a goal for something and working hard to try their best to accomplish it. Or you got to start from like, what is it? Like, you want your son to play sports because you feel like he's going to be a professional athlete?
If he wanted to be.
Okay.
And we're going to call this I struggle.
Yeah.
I struggle because I've had it, my kids, Sach, right? So my ex-wife and Rob, they're all close, right?
Yep.
Matt, you, all
That's
best friends.
like my sister.
Yes,
She's like my sister.
We won't call it for what it is, but we have such a good co-parenting situation. So I'm just going to leave it on. Like I said, use me as a guinea pig.
Yeah.
I can coach other kids, I feel like, at a high level.
Yeah.
Coaching my own kids, I'm probably the shittiest coach to them. And I put it like that is because, and like I said, I may be talking to all you coach dads out there.
Yeah.
The struggle is we want them to be the best. Is my intentions wrong? No. Like, I want them to be the best.
Sure.
I know that being, we can define what best is.
Yeah.
But the opportunities that were provided for me, the things that I got to do, I got to see my career, whatever, that is because of the opportunities they have from sports. So, of course, I want that for them. But how I go about them, man, they always get it the hardest. I'll say stuff to them that I would never say to another kid. Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to be fully transparent about this. So that is my struggle. Yeah. You know what I mean? And sometimes
you need to stop doing that.
Yeah, and true, because I know you're going to touch upon this is because of the fact, and like I said, man, for me to portray something and not keep it real, that would be a disservice to everybody tuning into the podcast, because we keep it 100 over here.
Yeah, it's authentic.
Yeah, but I do struggle with that, and there's things that I know that, like, I'll leave a practice and I'd be like, bro, well, I would never do it to another kid. Why would I do it to my own kids?
Yeah.
And that is my struggle.
It is. Okay, so good. Thanks for honesty and candor. I think a lot of people do that. I think so.
We're gonna answer this question and we're gonna lead into what you're doing right now.
Yeah. So I've been in coaching for 20 plus years, and I've seen like the gamut of parent to student, parent to student relationship, and I've seen more negatives than I've seen positives. Mm-hmm. And from the ones that I can see that are the positives, a lot of them are not as involved, right? And so, like for me, my son, wrestling, I wanted to get him to wrestling super bad. Mm-hmm. And so I started wrestling in the back of my house. I always invite his buddies over, and they're into it, man. They're super into it. My own son, he's not practicing like I expect him to be practicing. And for whatever reason, I feel like he should be like Dan Gable level. Yeah. And I haven't taught him anything. Yeah. But my expectation is, because he's from my loins, he must be the greatest wrestler, just miraculously without any type of skill set whatsoever. So I noticed that. I noticed that in myself. And again, I noticed that feeling. So that's your ego. Yeah. Right? Because your ego is telling you that if my kid that came from me goes out there and plays a sport that I love and they're not the best of it, other people are going to judge me.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
right. And so, and
that's spot on.
Right. So other people are going to judge me because his last name is this and I am this and that. They're who made you? Who decided that you were gonna go and play Division I football? Who woke themselves up to go and do the grind that needed to do it? Was your dad over there waking you up, shaking you up, making you cry, and forcing you to do it?
yes, at times, but at the end, I had to do it for myself.
So at what point did you transition over to when you were doing it yourself? How old were you?
I'd probably say I was sophomore, maybe
Okay.
junior high school, maybe going to my junior in high school where it kind of clicked.
Yeah. And you started playing football when you were in 9th grade, right?
Ninth grade, correct.
Yeah. And so there's a maturity aspect, yeah,
True.
that comes into it. And your son is 14.
Yep.
So when you were 14, you had just started playing football.
No, I wasn't playing. I was just playing basketball. I was playing all the other sports.
Okay.
Basketball,
Okay, so-
soccer, all kind of other stuff.
Where your son is now to where you were when you were 14 in
Smokes
terms of,
me. Wait, all my kids.
And do they know that? Do you let him know that? Do you let him know, or what's stopping you from letting him know that you're proud that
You
he's
probably touched upon an ego.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that, like, maybe there's, I don't know if it's a man thing amongst fathers.
Yep.
But the day, and like I said, we'll keep it 100, everybody.
Yep.
But the day as a dad, I feel like, and I've had conversation with other guys, and this is just, I guess, the common norm, the denominator of things is, the day we feel like we give into our kids, it's like we passed the torch already. And that, like, we're not the factor anymore. We're done. You know what I mean? Like, they don't need to look up to us anymore.
And that's based off of your experience.
I don't know.
Where is that in your head?
Yeah.
Or facts?
Maybe my head.
Facts over here, my guy. You know, like that's
Oh, we
what I
bring it
mean.
on
So
the table. Yeah, no.
right, like
Yeah.
like so I talk about data and I
Yeah.
talk about stuff. So let me tell you this. So the NFL draft, I think, had 255 guys get drafted last year. How many of those athletes were multiple sport athletes?
I would say it would have to be majority of them.
So 89%.
Wow, because I believe that.
Yeah.
Multi-sports.
So, but why are all these coaches out making kids play football year round?
I don't know. I don't believe in that.
Good, right? But that's a norm, right?
That is a norm.
That is a norm.
I feel like the norm has become at by 6 years old, you should be already picking a sport that you can play for the rest of your life.
So you yourself are a data point that proves otherwise.
Yeah.
Because you started playing football when?
Not till 9th grade. We never had big boys and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
so-
So that's why I'm a
Okay.
believer of that.
So yeah, and then you played.
Soccer, basketball.
No.
Well,
And you went to what level?
got a little taste of the NFL. You know what I mean?
The highest
Yeah,
level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that data alone tells you what?
In what sense?
What does that tell you? It tells you it doesn't matter when you start,
Oh, yeah, true.
right? So it needs to click for your kid. What parents are trying to do, and what I was trying to do, I was trying to force it to click for them.
And you're 100% right.
And it's not some kids. Oh, these dads, I want to hug them and like, but you hit the lottery. In wrestling, some of these kids, we've been blessed to come in here. They're coming in, they're already clicked, bro. 7th grade.
There was a wrestler, I think his name was Ramsey, and he had a sister too.
Ramsey Nishida? Yeah,
Yes.
Ramsey and Riley.
Yes, Ramsey and Riley. I remember coaching them from like speed clinics when they were like 6, 7 years old, like young.
Yes.
But they were so like, wow, like, because then they were wrestlers too.
Yeah.
And I just seen the commitment to just the work, bro.
Right.
And like you said, those are the ones that are like,
So the difference now, I think, is like, one, you know, not being afraid for your kid to go out there and fail, because that's your kid. And your kid is your kid, and that's not you.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can take away what my accomplishments are, who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can take away your accomplishments are and who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And just because their kid is better at sports than your kid, that doesn't mean that they're better than you at anything.
yeah, no, you're right.
But that's the feeling, right? And you get caught into it because you go to a youth football game and you get these dad coaches over there that are losing their minds, coaching like it's the NFL, screaming and yelling and running up and down, swearing, and you know, it's like if the team loses, either snapping at their kids. That's called transactional coaching. Like, if we win, oh, I'm in the greatest mood, and your kids feel that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that feeling before with a coach?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I have. Right, I'm lucky that my mom was like hands off.
Yeah.
I fell into sports because I wanted to play sports, so I never had an additional pressure. Right, so you know, it's that like becoming confident in yourself and understanding that your success was your success. Your job is now your kids for them to be successful, but they need to do the work. They need to come to the table when they're ready to eat, and you just need to provide the fork and the food and I think there's again, the quote is if nobody cares who gets the credit, good things can happen. I think a lot of these dads, they're so bought into them being the person that coached their kid up and getting the credit for their kid being this thing. When you're a coach and you go out and you win championships, you know, I won championships. It's not my championship.
No, it's the kids.
It's the kids' championships.
100%.
And there's no, you don't get an extra attaboy because you're a state champion. There's no badge that you wear. Yeah, you maybe get a little bit more respect if you won a championship and you're a good person.
True.
Because I know guys that won championships that I would never hang out with them. So, you know, like the best dads that I've had in wrestling, and these guys are good wrestlers, and they're like, they could teach their kids everything. They know everything I know better than me. But the difference between with your thing with your boy and your daughter is your coaching is going to be received as criticism.
Yeah.
Not coaching.
Yeah. And I'll touch upon that for you guys out there too, is because as a coach dad, riding to a practice, you can get my pre-practice talk, my standard for you of when we're practicing. In practice, you're going to be held at the highest standard. So you have no room for anything less than the best. Then that's that ride home after practice. And I'm just being super, honest with everybody out there. And you get the after. So I've been brought up many times by the mom, like by Sach. It's just like,
she calls you out on it.
Yeah, calls me out.
Yeah.
And I think I struggle with that. Like, I just want the best for them.
Yeah.
Am I going about the best? Because you also said, too, is don't let sports or me being a coach to my own kids be the thing that drives us apart.
Yeah.
And that's honest. I've seen that. You know what I mean?
Rock, this is how bad it is that for me, when I was coaching wrestling, I mandatorily would make the kids ride the bus home after the event. You cannot, no options. Do you know why?
So that they don't have to hear from the parents.
Exactly.
That's smart.
Especially if they had a hard match.
Yeah.
I want to be, and not all parents. Some parents, like,
God, it's just so real right now,
like,
for you guys tuning in. Like, God, it's just.
I want to be the coach that can receive them and say, hey, that was a tough match.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Monday going to come. We're going to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay? Keep your head up. You battled. Did you give everything that you got? Yes. That's stuff. That's what I'm feeding them. And not and then going back, and they're not thinking like, oh my God. When COVID happened, and I was like coming up,
and I had this, bro. And this might be therapy, bro. but I had that with my dad. Oh. And
bro,
I'm grateful for my dad. Yeah,
you know how many people?
grateful.
Every boy and kids had this with their parents.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. But like now, you gotta identify this, and like, what you gonna do? Repeat the cycle?
Yeah. I think it hits because you never want to let your parents down. Culture-wise, too, right?
Sure.
Polynesian culture is like, man, you represent your last name, you represent your lineage, right? So it's like we talked about earlier. I think it hits a little bit because that's the truth. Like, I always grew up like, man, like the satisfaction, like if my dad was happy, I was happy. My parent, my mom wasn't so much because she wasn't really a stuff, but my dad was like, I think culture always played that fine line, man, you represent all of us, you. And I catch myself, bro, saying the same stuff, but it's true, man.
Oh, but there were some guys at Coco that were crying, not because of the loss, but because of the lickings they was gonna get when they was gonna get home, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my Samoan friends and my Tongan friends, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's real too.
Yeah.
I seen that.
Yeah.
Other guys can't even come home because they dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Right? That's unhealthy. That's not good. Yeah. That's not gonna help your kid get mentally tough.
Yeah.
Right? This whole tough love type of stuff, like, bro. So you have to understand, like, what is your bottom line? Like, you want your kid to focus on their effort.
Yeah.
Right? Focus on their effort. Hey, did you play hard?
Yeah.
You can be upset if they didn't play. In my opinion,
Yeah.
You can be. I'm upset at my boy if he doesn't play hard.
Yeah. I agree with that because there's been times where team-wise we win.
Yeah.
But I know the effort, like they didn't give it everything they got, and that's where that's a non-negotiable.
Because that's in their control.
Yes, you control that. You
100%
can always
in
put
their
effort.
control. Yeah.
There's been times where we lost a game, a close game, big game, whatever. We lost it, but
the
I know effort was there.
Yeah.
And I give the biggest hug at the end. So like I agree with that.
So you gotta pull back too, because you cannot separate your kids if you're going to coach your own kids.
Yeah.
Then you have to coach them how you coach all the kids.
True.
And then when it's like I told the guys that were, like I said, that were good wrestling, this and that. Their kids don't want to listen to them anymore. I tell them, stop talking to them about it.
Yeah. Well, I want to touch upon that part. The reason why I think there's always this stereotype. Oh, he only coaches his kid so his kid can play. Mm. So I've always, and my some of my assistant coaches have been with me for some years.
Sure.
So they know, oh, no way, he's not going to rock. The reason why is because if my kid is on the field, is because you know that, like, bro.
But your kid is a monster, bro. Yeah. Like, and your daughter's a monster. Yeah. Your kid is on the field because they have genetics of a Division I athlete. So if anybody is going to complain about your kid being on the field, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah. There are other people that do that. Yeah, like let's call that out too. They're coaching because they want to put their kid in a position because they think their kid's going to be their ticket out of this is some type of scholarship and which is awesome. And you got that, but so 7% of high school student athletes, 7% nationwide go to the next level.
And it's even harder now, man, with all this.
That's including, I mean, it's everything. So, like, statistically, right? And there's things that you need to have. Your kids are blessed. You're blessed with genetics. Built like a defensive tackle, right? That's not... I didn't make up the rules, but that's the best body type to go up and plug holes. So they have a little better chance of going because they already knock off the genetic test. They'll have the eyeball test. Next is, can they play, right? And so they can make up for this and that. But the ultimate is, can they play? Do they love playing, right? And can they, like, when they love playing, they play different.
Yeah. No, true. And we've been athletes where when you love it and you're in your element and you're in your zone.
Yep. That means you're going to do anything you can to be the best at this thing, right? And so that's the secret sauce is you need to get your kid to want to do the work on their own. And yes, you can force, but I don't know about you, but most kids, when you force him to do something, especially teenagers, they're going to do the complete opposite. Yeah. And, I enjoy wrestling because the feedback is very direct and very personal. That's fine. If you don't want to play, I coach intermediate kids all the time. You guys are playing around. You guys are laughing and giggling. Okay. When we go to the tournament and you get lickings, I was going to say, hey, what happened? How come you're not laughing anymore? Yeah. Oh, what you mean, coach? In practice, he was laughing and having a good time. Now you're crying. What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I said, what do you think you should do? Yeah. Not play around in practice? Okay.
Yeah.
But up to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna love you no matter what. Like, I hope that you don't play around. You don't have to experience this. But it's a long season, and some people are hard learners and they're hard head, right? But over time, like that, I'm not gonna sit there and baby them or this. Like, that's it. That's the result of what you put in. And guess what? And lots of times they buckle down. They get it. They make it happen. Well, the result is different. And the result might be they still lost, but they lost less savagely, right? And then the next time they go...
But that's improvement, though.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah. And then you, as a coach, you pull off of that. Hey, bro, you see that? They put in that work last week. Yeah. And now look, bro, he pinned you in 30 seconds last time. You made it to the second round.
Yeah.
Let's make it to the third round. Let's keep this... I've seen kids go from getting smashed to getting a little bit smashed to getting, like, okay, lasting the whole period to winning the match in a intermediate season, right? And so that's why I think wrestling is like addictive. Yeah, because they go, oh, bro, if I work hard, I can be a savage. What can become of this? Yeah.
So for you guys tuning in, we've talked a lot about mindset and mentality, the outlook of something. Rob, you were fortunate to hold an AD position at Kamehameha Schools for a while.
Yeah.
But now you took a leap of faith and you're really kind of like honing on something, and it's a business now for you.
Yeah.
Correct? So what is your business called? And we've kind of been touching upon this, but what do you specifically focus on? What is your goals and your intentions for this?
So my business is called Focus on Refinement. And there's a couple aspects of it, but essentially it's coaching, helping people set goals, helping people set accountabilities, helping people set up systems.
More for players or parents or both?
This would be for like businesses and leaders, so leadership development. And the other portion of it is actually going to be a youth mental training. So online for players. I actually want to do some parent ones too, because I think, I'm doing a professional development for Hana Ha'oli in March, kind of coming up with like a youth sport parent toolkit, so that you can use sports to get closer together and not drive you apart, and remember the focus of why you got your kids into sports. Rocky, can I ask you why you got your kids into sports?
I think for the thing they provided me with, as in like the experiences, like the friendships and relationships. And a lot of my kids, aunties and uncles, is from my playing time.
So that's interpersonal communications. So that's one aspect.
So that's one aspect. Two is like the thrill of like making that big play, the feeling of like overcoming things, you know what I mean? Like
exhilaration.
The exhilaration that just, it's so hard to explain.
Yeah.
But that, and also too, is like professionally where I'm at here in life now, it's a lot from my relationships through sports.
Yeah.
So I want all of that for them. And I feel like it's doable for them.
Sure.
But my struggle is like, I think nowadays, right, when youth sports, everything happens so much earlier. Everything is more like the opportunity. There's more opportunity, but less as in like slim pickings, right?
Yeah.
For this group of kids. So for me, it's like, I don't want to miss out on opportunity for them. But like you said, it has to be them and not myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And at some point, they're like, I don't think kids, allowing choice and things like that for some things, like there's got to be non-negotiables that you do that are healthy non-negotiables. I think parents should still like dictate what school their kid goes to. A lot of people, I'll let my kid decide. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, bro, look at the school, make them, they can decide what college you like go.
Because the environment, like you talked about before, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and it just happens to be at a school that all of a sudden is that good at football, it's that kind of stuff. But yeah, most people get into sports because they want their kids to learn teamwork. Yeah. They want their kids to learn how to communicate. They want their kids to learn how to compete. They want their kids to learn how to persevere. Yeah. But you also got there's also people that are like, wow, I want my kids to play sports because this is their ticket out. They're gonna be they're gonna be a NFL player and make multiple millions of dollars, and like that's such a small percentage chance of that happening. That it's like playing 2 slot machines. You go to the casino and there's 2 slot machines, and there's this one slot machine here that has like a 1% chance of winning, and you have to put all this money into it. But if you win kind of big. Yeah. You win, maybe multi-millions of dollars, right? And then this other slot machine that is like you don't have to put as much money into it, but you do have to consistently put money into it, and you can win way more. Like you can win more often. Yeah. But the value of it is maybe a little less. So like this machine is athletics. Yeah. So everyone's investing in their youth, their kids, this and that, putting all that money into it for this 1% chance of maybe making X amount of money. This machine is academics. There's way more academic scholarships out there than there are athletic scholarships. Most people are going to school for free because of their academics, not because of athletics. Only 7% of kids are going up to the next level. So it's like, okay, what machine are you playing? And if you're fine playing this machine, know that you're playing this machine, but don't get bummed out when you don't have any money and don't have nothing to show for it, because this machine will guarantee wins, and those wins actually, who knows, could lead to more money, but it's just different pathways, and so it's just, I would love for more people to have the emphasis on academics, because you can go play sports at the next level if your academics are solid. Yeah, like that's the number one thing. Because you wouldn't make it
to school if you heard all those.
I mean, you gotta be elite. But if you're elite, they don't really care about your grades. Yeah. Like they'll figure it out for you. I mean, we're talking elite, 5-star, and how many of those we have on Hawaii right now? No, 0 right now, right? We got 4 stars. Yeah. But it's like so. I don't mean this to be like negative or whatever, but it's data and facts that you have to look at before you're like making these decisions. It's not like
how'd you get into all these analytics of like statistics and the tracking of numbers and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, so at Kamehameha they have guys. There's a guy there. named Lloyd, and like he's like his PhD in this, and I forget what they're called, but they're just like data people. They know how to like take surveys, and you can ask them like, yeah, I want to learn this from this group. And so like I started learning to see what pushes the needle. Like data is like your return of investment of doing things. Like if I do this, I have a greater chance of this coming. So it's more of just and in reading, I read a lot, and invest in my education of it, and then you realize like, so for me, we figured out if we can get a kid from 7th grade to 12th grade, but we have a high percentage chance of making them a champion, whether that's an individual champion or a team champion.
And you guys realize at Commitment?
High for wrestling. Yeah. So we got to put a lot of emphasis down here at this level, put really good coaches down there, so we want to keep them. The goal was 33%. So we have 60, 70 kids at the middle school. We need 33% of them from the 8th grade class to elevate and want to be wrestlers for 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. So now we have a healthy chunk per grade level. Yeah. So we like, that's the analytics that we looked at. So the coach at the intermediate level, your job is retention. I don't care if you win intermediate.
Yeah, that's intermediate.
Yeah, and retention and also realism. So at the intermediate level, at the ILH, 9th graders can come down and wrestle. And they can play football, they can do all that. It's just, I'm not sure where that rule came from. We try to subscribe to not put any 9th graders down, and because we want our 9th graders to go up and wrestle up. Like, that's physical harm, wrestling on 9th grader that's way more superior. Making sure that they understand that we just want them to battle. We don't care if you win, bro. But go out on your shield. You know, and so once they get that, because we know if we can keep them, this kid will get better. He'll get better. He'll get better. Like, and won't
be defeated. Like something you take that real bad defeat early on, you get scarred.
And, you're like, bro, I don't want to do this. Football is far worse for me, in my opinion. You have a 12-year-old boy playing against a 15-year-old boy. And the physical consequence of a linebacker who's probably going to go Division I,
who has experience and all that stuff too.
Right,
like,
and is running around, and it's your first year playing football, and you're a little slot back, and you catch a ball, and this guy comes and creams you. Like, you can see why the kid might not want to play football, you know. But yeah, it's that. So the data is, I'm terrible at math, but I love using data because I think facts is facts, you know, and I like to look into that, and the data helps with that. And you might think you're doing something the right way, but you go and you survey it and you do the data and you realize like, oh man, this is not the way. Like, it's a way of like doing something and then checking to see if it works, you know. And so for me, when wrestling, the moves that we teach in wrestling, we try to get accomplished in the first 2 to 3 weeks, and it's all based off of highest percentage. Like, what's the highest percentage takedown in the Olympics? It's typically the single leg. So we probably got to be good at single legs, huh? If that's like the elite guys, that's like, and then that, and harping on a good package, and like, we're not teaching the breadth of wrestling, but we're teaching a nice solid package that can get them to win and win now. And then if they want to like learn the breadth of wrestling, then they should go join a club, you know, and wrestle maybe more than 2 months out of the year.
So with focus on refinement, you know, it is about leadership.
It is leadership, mindset.
So, you know, kind of give us a little bit specific of like when somebody comes to you to seek like your help, right, and your services. What do you take them through? Yeah, like what kind of program, or do you program specifically them, or there's kind of like there's a program already kind of like I guess mapped out already?
Yeah, no, it's all unique to who I'm working with. You know, I think the more prescribed ones is like when I do with the student athletes, it's overarching, it's themes. So I take them through a 4-week a month, but it's a session every 4 weeks. I mean, one every Sunday for a month, and then each session we talk about, you know, goal setting, process goals, understanding how to journal, understanding how to make friends with pressure, understanding, and so I put them through kind of a battery of things, so that at the end, they have kind of a template for them to look back and be like, okay, this is my goals for now. This is how I'm going to accomplish these. And we get it broken down to a level that's like manageable for them to do it. And then I provide accountability for them. Right. And then we come back and it's just, it's them, what they want to do, what they want to accomplish. And I'm just providing the tools and the knowledge through all my coaching and experiences, for them to do that. On the other leadership side is really like, sitting down and seeing, what 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 groups might need for them to refine what they're doing so that they can be even better.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Where are you at? What goals are you trying to accomplish? What's the pinch points that are preventing you from accomplishing that? And really narrowing that down for them. And it's like I treat these guys like fighters. So for me, the end goal for a fighter is the fight. So you backwards map from that, right? And it's setting these goals, and then you put in systems and your routine. And then that way your routine will allow you to be disciplined. And once you start being more disciplined, then you can be disciplined with more things. And it kind of just scaffolds from that. Like your routine is really going to make or break you. Like show me somebody who's doing good, and that person has a pretty solid routine that they're doing. Like a morning ritual that they're doing. They're making time to meditate, to try and silence the voices in their head. It's hard to meditate. They're reading. They're spending more time on E&E is entertainment and education. They're spending more time in the education section. They're looking to try and do something else, or do something, learn something new, stretch themselves, like all that type of stuff. Help people get past maybe a complacency that they're at. And that's like basically what coaching is. In a like coaching at a team setting is you're trying to get a team to buy in, to set goals, and for them to do the work to accomplish that goal. And each team that comes in, I always tell them, like, we at Kamehameha in the wrestling room, we have our second place trophies up in the wrestling room. All the other trophies are up in the trophy room, the core room, and all that. But we strategically put the second place trophies because the team every year sets the goal and says that we want to win the state title, boys and girls. And when we start and in order to, we can help them do that because we have a pathway, but it's hard. And when you're doing the hard stuff and you feel like you don't want to do the drops, or you don't want to do the shoot throughs, or you don't want to take a shot, I tell them, like, look, just look up there, because if you work just hard enough, that's what you're going to get. Most people would kill for that trophy. We kill not to have that trophy because that's our standard. Like, sorry, put it there. Look at it. You work just hard enough, you're going to get this little trophy. And not belittling the trophy, but I'm just saying, like,
but because of your standard.
Our standard is first place. Winning is expectation, but it's not the purpose. That's something. That's something that I learned from Inside Out Coaching by Joe Ehrman and 3-Dimensional Coaching. Winning is the expectation, but it's not the purpose. We expect to win, but it's not why we do everything.
Do it. Especially of why we coach. We don't coach to win. We coach.
You coach to develop. You coach to develop character traits. The kids. So, and that's what I harp on in the individual setting is we identify character traits for these kids, for them to say that's how they want to be represented. And the people that have the best character, because your character is what's going to keep you disciplined. This is what nobody's watching. That's who you are. Nobody's watching you.
What you're on. What you do.
Or if you're in a position of power and and you're with people that are like not in a position of power, how you act, like that's gonna be your character. Right. And you gotta develop these kids to have good character. So when nobody's watching, they're gonna do 100 when they said they did 100. They're not gonna do 98 or and be okay. Right.
They're not gonna cut corners or just cut it close. That's good. Is there any specific, obviously you talked about working with young athletes, right? But leadership as well. Is there any, if you could pick, would there be a specific business or company that you would love to work with and apply your programming and what you're doing? Would there be somebody that stands out?
I think anybody that's trying to do something significant, like maybe trying to look to change something big, something that would like resonate and help Hawaii. Like I'm attracted to doing big, awesome things.
For sure.
That is hard, like change management. Ku'uhome o kahalu, you know that song?
Yeah, the song.
So like you don't know line, o kahalu, and so it goes, change is a strange thing, it cannot be denied.
Oh, I never know.
It can help you find yourself or make you lose your pride.
Wow, I gotta listen to that song again.
Yeah. And so like that's like the biggest thing in leadership really is change management. Nobody wants to change, bro. No, but like there's three reasons why people change. They desire to change, deeply desire. They're discontent, right? Or disaster.
Yeah.
And so, to get people to want to change and have the desire to change is a skill. There's this cartoon, and it goes, it's like three blocks. It goes, who wants change? And then all the people, he's on this podium, and all these people on the bottom, everyone's raising their hands. And then the next one says, who wants to change? And then everybody's hands is down. And then the last one goes, who wants to lead the change? And then everyone's gone.
It's not true though.
But that's leadership.
Yeah, that is.
You know what I mean? Like, and so, my experience is, allow me to understand that, like, that's the thing. If you can make significant change, like I want to be transformational, I want to make significant change. You gotta go in. You gotta find the people that are gonna be courageous to do that. So like, I'm looking for people that want to be courageous and I want to do cool and awesome things that I can help them set up systems, help them set up their culture within their team. That's really all it is. In coaching is creating a winning environment.
Yeah.
And like through your coaching is a winning environment, like how you act and, if you're out there and you're coaching youth. I don't care whatever level. If you in at practice, you busting your vape out and you vaping.
Yeah, that's.
It's like, bro, like.
Yeah, come on.
And then even parents, bro, you guys gotta hold these guys a little bit more accountable. Like they want to be like, oh, I like him because he's old school. Old school. What does that mean? Like he swears at your kids and he's swearing and, like, you can be old. To me, old school is like tough, like a tough practice, rugged practice. Like it doesn't apply to like. Talking like a knucklehead and screaming at it. Because now, like, I go to these games, I'm on the sideline, like, these kids, the way that they talk with social media and all that is so wild.
Yeah.
The craziest thing is, like, now they go to the OC16, right? And player of the game, and they interview this guy, and, like, some of these kids, they sound like they're from, like, inner city LA, how they talk. It's like, bro.
And you grow up the whole
life. Yeah, it's like, bro, our accent is awesome.
Yeah,
like, you don't have to pretend to be like Marshawn Lynch and how he talks. Like, we can't, like.
Different if you grew up in that environment.
Yeah, if that's how you talk 24/7, that's how you talk. Like, they're not. Those guys are not trying to talk like somebody else. They're not trying to talk like local guys. Like, even if you did leave the island, like, but be true to yourself. Talk how you talk. It'll be more authentic. And I understand pidgin more than English, but that's the environment. Like, those are the people that are around. Like, these are Hollywood coaches. Like, they want to coach and they want to wear the shirt. They have they draw all this attention to themselves. You go watch on OC16, they're like, the head coach is there, and then they're like walking into the thing. You know what I mean? Bro, you know the guys, bro. And it's like, bro, like you got to, the environment that you said, the kids that the people that you surround yourself with that are coaching, bro, come here, I had the best coaching staff.
Yeah.
But we don't get how we are without Dave Chu, Shaden Terkina, all the coaches that we have over there.
And you guys have a long list of coaches.
Dogs, but they model it. We got to go through it. Like the swearing is also a hard one for people, and like, so, but that's your discipline. That's how you show discipline, and we don't accept it from these kids. And too many guys are trying to be buddies. And they're talking to the kids like that's their boys. Like,
there's got to be that respect.
It's not your boys, bro. These are kids, bro. They're super impressionable. Like, you go get friends your age.
I think that's one thing that gets mixed up too much now. They don't understand, like, player to coach. I'm your coach.
Yeah, bro.
I support you. I love you. I'm gonna be there.
I'm not gonna let you swear in front of me. Like, we're not talking. But are you talking? Like,
I shoot the stuff.
I told my, like, I swear. I talk when I'm with the boys and all and because that's how I grew up, right? But in a professional setting, I don't swear. When I'm coaching, I don't swear. And I'm up front with the kids. I say, hey, if you guys hear me swear, you guys can swear. I also tell, like, my son, like, to me, swearing is somebody that that's you paying bills. Then your kids pay bills.
No.
So my kids, my kids don't pay bills. Yeah. So guess what, brother? You're not paying bills. You can swear. As soon as you start paying bills, by talk however you like. Right? That's my line.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, as soon as you move out of my house, as soon as you're not here, you're not on my payroll. Cause talk however you like.
Go for it. Yeah.
And these other kids too. Like, I don't care if your parents that you swear. You in this place, bro. You don't pay bills in here. You don't pay. So you're not swearing. Like, I cannot stand that. and there's the cultures of all these sports is like, it's so crazy, man. All these clubs and all that, and so it's counter the way that I try to coach and stuff like that is actually counter culture.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we coach them hard, we get good results. Our kids constantly overachieve, and I mean, I have so many great stories of these kids that are like, "Bah, Rock, if you would have seen them when they first started, and then where you see where they go." Pono Fisher, I love this kid, bro, and he's a man now. He was coaching with us. He's a dog, but he's a small little guy, but he's big, heavy. And I remember, I always used to pride myself like, I'll get every single intermediate kid for win-one match. And it's hard, bro. I'll tell the kids directly. I said, hey, my goal is to get everybody in here a win.
Yeah.
That's a lofty goal. It might not happen.
Yeah.
And I remember Pono, 7th grade, never have a win. He was the last guy to never have a win, right? Because I like document this. I want to know, and he's wrestling a kid, but he's getting toned up. And I'm like, he was losing like 12-0, bro. And
15 is the match where he gets called or something.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And it goes into the 3rd period, but he was fighting, but the kid had him his back the whole time. And if you ever been on your back wrestling, man, somebody's trying to pin you, they're choking you, you're fighting all your might, like you have this like despair because you're so close to getting finished that it just exhausts you. But he'd been training hard the whole time. But the kid kind of gassed himself out trying to pin Pono. But Pono went in and threw a pin and then ends up pinning this kid, but with like 4 seconds left.
Oh, nice.
And wins the match. So the kid's winning 14-0 to the front. Bro, I never jumped so high in my life. I'm 5'5". I guarantee I could have slammed dunk a basketball, bro. These cows in spring. And then so Pono goes on, he continues on, and his senior year, he was our 220-pound starter. And he's shorter than me. Wrestling 220.
Yeah.
And he's kind of fair-skinned, Portuguese-looking, happy-go-lucky guy here. And I remember we were at Officials. Officials is like the pre-states. Like all teams come down. Like whoever wins Officials is kind of like the front runner. And it's all the dogs.
Yeah.
And he's wrestling 220. And he's like 5'3". And I remember he was like walking to the mats because you get your bout sheet and you're walking kind of with your opponent to the mats and you got to walk past people and their coaches are like kind of behind or with them. And I remember people kind of bumping their elbow and like chuckling, and I'm locked in, so I'm like, what are they laughing about? And I look, and Pono's walking next to his opponent, bro, and the guy was like 6'4", bro, 220, and Pono's like 5'3", and just this absolute mismatch in size.
Yeah,
and they go out there, and the kids from Collar Hill, bro, they're banging. This kid is like kind of catching Pono and this and that. He seems a little bit more athletic, and he's going, but Pono's just a dog. But he's sitting there fighting. Chris West is in the corner, and then Pono ends up pinning this guy. The guy gasses out, and he pins him. But he took 3rd in Officials at 220 as his senior year. And then a week before we're going to go ILH Championships, he suffers a concussion wrestling a St. Louis kid who I mean, he'd been dominant.
Yeah.
And then so he has to pull out. And then Scotty Diquilaro steps in. Scotty ends up being a 2-time heavyweight champ and takes 5th as a freshman.
Yeah.
But, like, if you were to look at a kid like Pono, started wrestling when he was in 7th grade, athletic ability, just eyesight and this and that, he is a product of someone that is so mentally tough and like, never gave up and got some skills. But really, his ability was, like, you're not gonna push me around. I'm stout. I'm strong, and he would hit guys with his fireman's carry. I'll show you some videos after, but you're gonna crack up. But like, that's a combination of like a good system and a good winning environment. And now, bro, good luck breaking that kid.
Yeah.
So when you get to the point, like for me, I'm wired like this. Like I like win, but I want to win. And so in 2019 or 2018, we were back and forth with Lelehua as a team title. And we came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we had a young team and this and that. And they, it came down to where if Lelehua won one of their matches or lost one of their matches, we would have won states by 1 point. And we had some things go down. We had a guy get docked a point, team point, for taking off his straps. And, you know, for me, like, I didn't want to win like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to win because another team has to lose.
Do something, yeah. I want to win convincingly because we did what we did.
Absolutely.
Had to do, yeah.
And so, you know, reflect back on that. You talk about your ego because, like, wow, we lost by 1 point. Well,
wow.
Right? 1 point, that's when you start to scrutinize.
Yeah. What?
Well, this way. So I was like, you know, my mindset was like, you know what? Wow, we didn't deserve to win.
Yeah. Because it shouldn't have came that close.
Yeah, we were too young. We were immature. We didn't believe that we actually could win, truly, because no one had written us to be in there. Lelehu was like dominating. Yeah. So then the next year was like, hey, now we reset as a coaching staff, and we go, okay, now we know what we gotta do in order to win.
Yeah.
And we set the stage. So, wow, we gotta get as much people as we can in the finals, right? So this is 2019. By that year, we got 8 out of 14 boys in the finals.
Wow.
Right. So, but here's what happens. Only 2 of the 8 win. 2 underclassmen actually. So now at the end of the season, if we win to states, I'm looking at and going, you know what? You know what the mistake was? We only coached him to get to the finals.
Yeah.
We didn't coach him to win the finals.
Final. Correct.
Right? So the following year, same thing we go. Now we make the adjustments. 4 boys in the finals, 4 for 4.
Nice.
Right? But
he was intentional about that specific thing, yeah.
Like that's like the level of detail and the type of stuff that is involved in creating a winning environment. Like it's not by accident. Like you gotta sit down, you gotta peel back, and you gotta like have everything in check so that you might be the problem, and if you're strong enough, you can solve yourself out of the problem or like, you know, fix the problem, you know, and then you got to deep dive into what you're doing. I journal every single practice, but I have a notebook. I can tell you where we are at what time during the season, because December is always flu season with all these big tournaments. It's like, wow, I'm like worried because guys are dropping and, you know, this and that. And so I was like, you know, my third year when we won, I was like, oh, this is all like, this happens. Yeah. Like, why am I worried? Yeah, like, wow, this happened the last 2 seasons. Look where we finished. Like, the finish line is states. I don't put value in anything other than the states. That's the big monster, you know. And so, but that, reflecting on that, going, wow, we're going to have fun. We can go to officials. It is what it is. But if we win, that's cool. If not, we're going to get better. And we know that we're going to progress so that we can peak at the right time and smash everybody, you know, when it counts.
So. That's good. You know, last day, as you know, kind of closing up. You know, this is there any last things that you want to kind of like imprint on like the coaching world that you want to have some influence on, that you could just, doesn't matter what sport, but just say some words to kind of influence or encourage maybe some things that need to get changed, or just your outlook on things?
I think, you know, one, there's plenty of books out there, guys, on coaching. I think you got to educate yourself. In coaching is the least amount of professional development. Anybody can be your own coach. It's too easy to get the name coach. You can pick the short straw and you're coaching your kid's soccer team. But one, you got to educate yourself because it's a highly influential position. I mean, highly influential. You know, some of the best people I know and best leadership things I got was from my coaches. And so, you know, take it serious. You know, like don't,
because you're impacting lives.
And like be a model. Like be a model for what we want to see our kids to be. I mean, it's like, right, you can't be vaping in front of them. You can't be sucking beers. You know what I mean? After practices, Paul, with the boys. Like, I'm not saying you cannot do that, but don't do it in front of them. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna replicate.
They hold us on a platform.
They're gonna replicate. Hey, keep your mouth, like, you know what I mean? You can be stern and you know, go pick up a thesaurus. You know what I mean? Find different words that you can use to get it across, you know, because that's a professionalism of it, right? And like, you know, look at the data. Like, don't force these kids. Don't make these parents feel like they have to come and do these things, or their kids are gonna miss out, or, you know, like, nobody should be doing a sport, you know, year round. All the data shows that that's not the right thing to do. And if parents are being pressured into that, the coach that's doing that is not doing it for the best interest of their kid. They're doing it for their best interest. Because the stats all show us that multiple sport athletes are the people that are going to the NFL. But you're going to tell me you know. And I remember I was telling you, like, I wish there was an AI live bubble that every time a coach came up and he started giving coaching advice, like their resume would pop up. That way you could look up and go, oh, okay, Brother was coaching in, you know, junior Pee-wee's level for 3 years. Like I'm gonna take his
advice or his
with a grain of salt, bro. Or I'm not gonna take his advice. I'm like, okay, brother.
Leave at face value.
Yeah, you know, and I think a lot of people like to speculate on how things are.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like, but do your fact checks. Check if the person is a good person. You know, don't make excuses for them if they're not. It's wild. Like I was at my son's baseball and it was like Sunday, Mililani.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 p.m. And I don't go because you know there's a lot of Kamehameha kids playing, and then the coaches kind of were tied with Kamehameha, and so coach the umpire makes a bad call, right? Actually, it's a bad call. Oh, coach lose and gets tossed out of the game. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, it's the one game I went to. I told my wife, and Chanel wasn't there. I'm like, bro, because now I gotta do something.
Because you see,
this guy coaches with us. Like, that's not cool. You know, I saw this whole thing, and so, you know, I set this whole thing up, and the crazy part is, like, when I talked to the parents, they were like, yeah, the umpire is so dumb. Like they wasn't even mad that the guy was losing it like that, but they were like, actually, like, yeah, you know, he should have, but it was the umpire's fault. I'm just like, all right, like, you know, I get it, you know, but these guys are humans, and we can't even find referees now, you know, and like how nuts people get, like, in the crowd is a little bit too much. Like dropping F-bombs and screaming, and I'm looking up and I'm like, what at what point in their life or that, like, this is that serious for them, bro? You know, we had a JV football game over here. I mean, these guys are screaming at the referees like they lost a Super Bowl, or they're making these calls. You know, it's like, this is developmental. Like, JV is gonna have choke flags, bro.
Yeah. Especially for, I think this is such a. I mean, man, this is probably gonna have to. We definitely have to do a part 2. Because I think there's so much things that can get addressed. Because even me, I'm at fault for some of those things too. You know what I mean? And that's being honest. Like I said, I would never be on here to paint a picture that I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I gotta bite my tongue so much times. But, referees.
But I think there's a lot of good insight, and there's more that I definitely want to dive in on. You know, but I think we might have to do a part 2.
Yeah.
Last one to finish this off. You know, this is, you know, the village was birthed through a struggle. Was there a time in your life where, man, a village, a community, a group of friends came up for you where, you know what I mean, like you needed that?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, all the time, anytime.
Or there's something specific?
You know, being up, growing up in Koku and Laie, you know, we're unfortunate that there's a lot of car accidents out there, and you know, I had 2 really good friends, Asuela Tuyono and DJ Lopez, get into car accidents and die. One at Turtle Bay when we were juniors in high school, and then DJ died when I was in college. We were 21. I think the community out there and all my friends out there, like, anytime I want to pick me up or I want to, like, be centered, taking myself out to Laie and connecting with the boys out there, like, oh, about Laie boys out there, like, and I see these guys around, like, it's such a beautiful place of positivity for me, like, that being out there, like, I was tough and all that, but, like, I think that is, like, anytime I have some type of struggle, I mean, I got my boys too, and we all go through struggles. You know, I deal with anxiety. From when I was like 10. You ever had a panic attack before?
I don't think I had one.
Oh, bro, I tell you right now, you will know if you have a panic attack, because I had one when I remember the first one I ever had, and you feel like you're gonna die. Like, and the only way I can, like, help people visualize, like, what it feels like or what it felt like for me was, like, I was in a hole and I was digging myself deeper into the hole.
Wow.
And then that's, like, with worry, and I can tell you the exact time that, like, and what triggered why I started getting panic attacks. So when we were in, must have been 5th grade, some kid got stabbed and killed at Koku Elementary.
Oh wow.
And his body was still there in the morning. And my grandma used to drop me off early, and even Matt was there too.
Yeah.
We all saw it, and then they covered the body and stuff. And I remember like 2 days later, because my mom was going to the University of Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so she was supposed to come pick me up from Koku, and I had to wait extra. And I just remember thinking like, oh, bro, what if my mom died? And it's because I saw a dead body, and like it just like all of a sudden now I had all this worry. And then so my mom, she took me to Dr. Schlachter. I don't know if you remember Dr. Schlachter. And so he was like, wait, what's going on? And so, you know, I was having this shortness of breath. Like I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. And like, I'm going to die. Like, bro, I thought I was like, I don't know what dying feels like, but that it feels like the closest to what dying feels like. And I remember him making me run around outside because they thought maybe I had asthma. And I would run around. I was perfectly fine. And then eventually, you know, my mom took me to this guy, a therapist guy, and we talked through a super cool guy. He lived in Kalu, had a sick house. And then he actually like pointed out to me what a panic attack was in his thing, like medical book, and like he had me read it. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly
what I'm feeling, what
I feel. And so, you know, I think that was the biggest struggle for me because wow, I struggled through anxiety my whole, from like early 10 on, to, I mean, I still struggle with it now, but I have so much more mechanisms. And I feel bad for guys that
don't have that.
Well, and they get anxiety now. But I was having anxiety when I was 10. Like, there wasn't really anything dangerous for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I was going to eat musubis or something, right? So it was a lot more safe for me to figure out mechanisms of how to stop digging in the hole. So now, you know, but it actually is a superpower for me because what it does is when you have anxiety, you're always living in the future. So being a coach, planning things out and things like that, my anxiety will allow me to plan for X, Y, and Z so I can calm that. I suffer from it still, and this is how it manifests now. When I corner guys, I'm like a wreck, and I'm trying to keep it together because I don't want my
to overflow on that.
I don't want that. And so, but even when I coach wrestling, if you go and you look during the season, I never sit in the corner because of my anxiety, because I want it so, it's a lack of control, and I want it so bad for our kids. So Shaden or Kai Boy will sit in the corner, or Dave is great in the corner. But I'm like right behind them screaming at them to scream at the referee. And only time I will sit in the corner is for states. We ask the kids, like, who do you want in your corner? You have to pick one of the coaches, and it's something that some people want to do, and sometimes they pick me, but lots of times they like to pick it's like I had this guy in my corner, I've been winning, so
superstitious.
I go keep I've been riding with these guys, let's ride with these guys, and I'm like, boss, awesome, because I don't have to do it. But every once in a while, a kid will pick me to be in the corner. And so I think the last one I did was Paige Respicio for a 3-time. If you go on and watch, you can watch it on video. I'm sitting over there, and I'm just like, going through it. But my body is super stoic and all that, and I'm just trying my best to keep it together. And but yeah, I think like that would be like my biggest struggle is like, or had been my biggest struggle, and now it's like I've learned to use it as a superpower, embrace it, you know, and like feel when it's coming on, and it's all comes from, most of my anxiety now comes from like when I'm coaching and the kids are out, because I want them to do so good, you know, like I seen the work. My more anxiety I have is like the more I seen the kid put in the work, you know, and I want it to be so true that the harder you work, the
payout is what it's supposed to be, and more.
And that's why I think like hanging, I like to hang with Matt, because Matt, he doesn't have anxiety, bro. Like he's not living. He's not living. He's not living in the future. Like he's living right here, right now.
At this second, in the moment. That's one thing about Matt. He lives in the moment.
He does, and he doesn't think about that kind of stuff. And so like we're a good combination, because I'm always like, oh, bro, what about you know? And he's like, oh, nah. You know. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you having me on, Rock. I would love to come back on. I think, you know, another aspect of talking about helping youth parents and things like that too. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to raise their kid or anything like this. Again, I'm just using data and facts and over time of how I've seen these things. And people are gonna take it some type of way. That's fine. That's good.
Everybody is though in this world. You know?
It's like, bro, like look at it and look at what you want, and ultimately, sports should be bringing you and your family together.
True.
And if you're blessed with your kids to be able to go and become professional athletes, awesome. That's great for you. But remember this: just because your kid is good at sports is not a determination of your parenting. Doesn't mean you're a good parent.
No, for sure.
Now, what is it? And this is at Radford. They have this on the sign. Is their ability to be coachable, their ability to be respectful, their ability to be a team player. That is a reflection of your parenting. Well, a lot of people think, well, if my kid is good at sports, like people can look at them like they're this good parent. It's
because
like
they can be the worst ones in the community. They can be the most disrespectful.
It doesn't work like that. Sorry, let's break that myth right now, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody giving you extra respect because your kid can run a 4.40, bro. You know, are you a good person? Yes or no?
Are you a contributor?
You know?
Help, respect, all that. So I agree. But yeah, man, Rob, love you, brother. Thank you for
being on. Love you too, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thanks everybody for having me.
Hey, for you guys tuning in, man, this was an awesome episode because I feel like it definitely correlates to a lot of stuff that we're going through in the sports world and just the mental aspect of how we go about our lives and leadership, especially if you're trying to go out there and do some big things. So, one more time, shout out your business.
Focus on Refinement. Yeah, I'm going to have a website coming up soon. I'm going to have small cohorts. I'm going to, because when I want to work with these kids, is, have 10 at a session. And again, I'm an early morning guy, so these are going to be early morning ones because I want to see if they really want it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if anybody's out there, it's not just, I mean, wrestling is kind of what, my jam, which I really love, but I think the principles are applicable to anything, any type of sport.
But yeah, man, we'll probably have a part 2 with Rob Hesia, but hey, thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Village HI Podcast. Aloha.